I gotta pay my review, I'm pulling the party spot. So now I'm from on the young, down in the parking lot. Get 10 seconds on the news, they barely talk about us. You gotta watch the way you move to make it talk about you. The river coming out and keep it on me. I told my mama I only want too much trying to get these niggas off. Still at war, I got that thing in the heart. Super heavy, that's what my mama told me when they called me with direction. Probably see me in the cell and see me in the casket. I showed love to all my fans and I forgot to all the crack and roll. I got homies that die young and I miss them, tell the truth. I to make it home and shot him in the hallway. Tears on my face, feel like I be crying blood. Mama see her son again, we call that blind love. I can just leave it there, get you lined up. Try to rob me, got some for him, only his time's up. You gon' be a killer or homicide. Make your mama shed a tear before my mama cry. Was young and great, but they still smoke them at the lobster spot. Only gotta get deadly when I touch you, let that cap rock. Village. I wrote this in blood, this some of my relish. They say if you rich, it's ain't moving so militant. Cause in my hood, it ain't no love, and I know what I'm dealing with. As I walk through the valley of the shadows of death, I did some things that I never regret. I see some things I can never forget. The reaper to my homie soft like he had to be next. Oh no. I just wanna ball 100 stars. Sing too many of my dogs going on. Oh, I made it out alive, sometimes I wonder. We've been on the wall since control.
And Nick got the mic plugged in, so you should probably be able to hear us better. Again, sorry about that technical glitch. I was at Bethel Park, Mount Lebanon for softball, came straight here for this. But, again, John Malone seems to be the right man for the job of this, turning this program around. And again, the first time, it feels like forever, Frazier and McGuffey get to play an athletic event against each other. And the reason I say what feels like forever, you go back to basketball season. 2 times these teams were scheduled to play. One was day 2 in a tip-off tournament of the basketball season. That got postponed. And then it was a makeup date set. It got postponed again. And then the second meeting was postponed. I mean, and then the first meeting of these baseball teams was postponed. As I'm just stalling time for you to get back on the air, Nick. But I was talking about how it seems like forever since Frazier and McGuffey have been able to play an athletic event because everything's been postponed or canceled, first due to COVID, then due to the weather. And now finally a makeup date has been set, and they're finally going to play an athletic event against each other.
I think the last time they played was football, correct?
That sounds right to me. Again, it's been forever. It's in baseball. I went all the way back to 2003, 2004, and I did not find any meetings between McGuffey.
Yeah, neither did I.
So I'm sure they've met somewhere down along the line, but my availability to kind of check that goes back to only 03, 04 is what I can find using my resources. But the Commodores are going to look for win number 4 of the season. They're 2-0 inside the section. Chase Hazelbaker not on the hill today. Dom Dorkin not on the hill today. I originally thought maybe Chase would be able to go, but not feeling the best in the Orm category.
Big section game on Monday, too.
You got to save him for the section games, non-section. You want to win them all, but, I mean, again, section games are so much more important, especially with the new back-to-back rule. And the reason, obviously, that comes in is because it makes that a team can't throw their ace.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that's like a really good rule, and I think it makes it more competitive.
I really like it because you, in a sense, now you can't throw your ace against the best team twice. And, you know, you have to really test your pitching depth. And, you know, Frazier showed good depth with Dom Dorkin, Lucas Roebuck picking up the save last night.
And, I mean, it kind of goes to show with the first game in this series was 14-3, and then the second game was 5-4.
Yeah, case in point. I mean, obviously, back-to-back nights, you're playing a lot of baseball in a short period of time, and obviously that happens every now and then, but you look at the factor again, you have to throw different pitchers against section teams, and even if a team who's not considered great like Bentworth inside the section, they put up a good performance against Frazier in Game 2 compared to Game 1 where Frazier was dominant. Again, Hazelbaker on the hill, he's been great all year, and when you look at Frazier's numbers, especially inside the pitching stats with what they have, I mean, they have a great ERA when it comes to their pitchers, and I'm going to pull that up right now so I'm not just talking, you know, nonsense. I'm going to give you the statistics to back up my point here. But the Commodores on the season have been outstanding when it comes to not allowing earned runs. And you think, well, you look at the season, their overall record or game categories, it's an 8-4 loss, a 5-2 win, a 14-3 win, and a 5-4 win. It's like, well, you're giving up a decent amount of runs there. Yes, that's the case. But look at a guy like Chase Hazelbaker. He's thrown 12 innings so far this year. And Hazelbaker's issue is not coming on the mound, I mean, it's the defense behind him, and that's been the big thing for Frazier is the earned runs against. Hazelbaker's given up 9 runs this season. Only 3 of his runs are earned. He's walked 3, struck out 9. I mean, his breaking pitch is absolutely elite at this level. And then you look at a guy like Dorkin, 7 runs, 4 of them earned. And where Dom's issue comes is his control, really, with his walks, having 12 walks, 13 strikeouts. And then, of course, Roebuck's thrown this year, got the save last night. And Brown has thrown this year, finishing off the first of the Bentworth game. And finally, another new pitcher we're going to see tonight for Frazier. That's going to be Brock Alexson, the freshman, the big right-hander, going to come in and try to get the job done here in a non-section game against Luke Wagner for McGuffey.
I do like the young depth that this team does have at the pitcher position. Logan Brown's a freshman, Brock Alexson's a freshman, and Dom is only a junior, and he's, like, looking forward, he's probably going to be your ace next year.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And if Dom can get the control, I think he's going to be a very good pitcher. I don't think he's maybe going to match the level that Chase is at. But, again, he's a very good pitcher. And as I mentioned, Brock hasn't pitched this year. From the stats that I found for McGuffey, which they seem pretty accurate, they were updated for all the games, so that's why I'm going to say they seem pretty accurate off Max Prep. Beatty's pitched, Orr's pitched, and Hall's pitched. Wagner hasn't pitched this year. So it's 2 guys in their first pitching outing of the season looking to get their team a win. McGuffey looking for win number 3 in game number 4. Frazier looking for win number 4 in game number 5. As the Commodores, again, trying to down McGuffey. And again, it's been forever since these 2 teams have met. McGuffey is a team that, unlike most teams, can say they're pretty experienced coming back. You know, you got a lot of good players coming back and returning. You got Jake Orr, Seton Hill recruit, Davidson Elkins recruit, and Austin Beatty. And we're going to step aside for the playing of the national anthem. We come back. It will be Frazier McGuffey right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
You can enjoy the rustic decor of the Big Barn Country Store in Delhi from Route 51, just south of Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. Inside the store, enjoy the atmosphere and browse through a selection of delicious Amish foods, home-baked pies, a deli, a wide array of nostalgic candy, wine store, and much more. Open 7 days a week. Visit our website at bigbarnstore.com. That's bigbarnstore.com.
We're back here on the Frazier Athletics Network. Big thanks to Lou Rude, Lanny Fateri, next door on the Triple Live High School Sports Network. For today's umpires, Ron Ross, Jeff Ostrich in the field. So thanks to Lanny for running that over. Lanny, my mentor at Waynesburg, has given me all the crap a mentor would about when I got here in loving and jokingly fashion. So good to see Lanny again. It's good to be back in Wild Things Park. My second time here this week as the Commodores look to down the McGuffey Highlanders, and the Commodores will come to bat, and they will face the right-hander Luke Wagner. And we'll take a look at the Commodores lineup offensively. Leading off and playing in center field will be Aiden Shetterly. Batting second, the shortstop Dom Dorkin. In the 3-hole and playing first base will be Chase Hazelbaker. Batting cleanup, the catcher Dan Olbreeze. In the 5-hole, it's Braden Bassino, and he will be playing third base. New look for Noah Ritchie, as Noah Ritchie will be playing second base today, batting sixth. Vincent Daculis gets into the lineup. He's in left field and bats seventh. Brock Alexson, as we mentioned, on the hill, the 6'8 freshman. And then batting ninth, probably the most consistent hitter in the eyes of John Malone to start the season, the right fielder, Jake Thomas. Again, McGuffey 2-1 on the year, 2-0 in the section. The Commodores come in 3-1 overall, 2-0 in the section. For Frazier, this is game number 5 on the year. McGuffey in game number 4. As we are nearing first pitch, we'll take a look at the defensive alignment for the Highlanders. Back behind the plate, it's Seabird. As I mentioned, Wagner on the hill, Ross at third, Beatty at short, or at second. Hall will man the first base bag. Keith will be out in right field. In left, it's Wallace, and Brookman will play left as Shetterly gets ready to step in for the first AB of the contest. Beautiful night for baseball, and besides that game day the game got canceled, Nick, it's been great weather this season.
Yeah, 100%.
First pitch by Wagner outside, ball 1, and Shetterly gets up in the count to start. As we're here at Wild Things Park again, home of the Washington Wild Things, one of the few live sports games that you could have attended last year, as Shetterly, the speedy center fielder, up in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. And Nick, I'm a big fan of this gentleman sitting to my right, running the scoreboard. When I was here on Wednesday, we had no scoreboard, so huge help today as Shetterly pops one straight up, and that one gets out of play up above us onto the roof of the press box. 2 balls, 1 strike now to the center fielder, Aiden Shetterly. Wagner, the 2-1 pitch. That one up high. 3 balls, 1 strike now. Shetterly looking to become the first base runner of the game for the Commodores. The speedy center fielder will take the 3-1, swings through it. Count full now, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Aiden Shetterly. Again, Ron Ross calling the balls and strike. Jeff Ostrich out in the field, stands at first right now. That one up high, and a 6-pitch walk for Aiden Shetterly, so a good AB to start the game for the center fielder.
Yeah, 100%. That was a really good AB, and he had really good patience in that at-bat. That was a key at-bat to start off this game.
Now it's going to be the junior Dom Dorkin. Dorkin started on the JV team for the basketball team. Saw some varsity minutes down the stretch, and he'll dig in as he'll take strike 1. And Dom Dorkin has won both his outings this year on the hill for the Commodores.
One close one on Wednesday, 5-4 versus Bentworth.
On there for John Malone's first win, and Dom Dorkin up in the count, or even in the count now, 1 ball and 1 strike. Chase Hazelbaker on deck for the Commodores. Malone going through the signs over at third base. Wagner checks over at first. That's Shetterly. He reached on the walk. He'll step off. Shetterly scampers back. In on the grass at third base, that's Ross. Holding on, Shetterly is Hall. Wagner to the dish, and Dorkin skies one down the first base line into foul ground, and that's going to get the seats just out of the reach of the first baseman, Hall. Shetterly back over at first. Dorkin will step back into the box. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count on the junior shortstop, Dom Dorkin. Much bigger ballpark than these teams are used to playing on, and AstroTurf, so again, something to get used to if you're Frazier.
Yeah.
Coming in as, again, I was here earlier this week, is at the belt. Wagner checks the runner, comes to the dish, and Dorkin chops one to third. Shetterly into second. Dorkin thrown out on the 5-3, but Shetterly advances up to second on the play. So runner at second with just 1 down, and it's Chase Hazelbaker at the plate.
That wasn't that bad of an AB. He ate up some of the pitches and moved the runner to second. Pretty productive.
You get a runner in scoring position now with Chase Hazelbaker, but again, I was here for Bethel Park Trinity, and Bethel Park's not used to playing on this field. Trinity more is than them. And you saw a lot of the slides, especially coming into home. It's a lot slower, a lot faster sliding into second as the first pitch to Hazelbaker goes in there for strike 1 to the senior right-hander, member of the basketball team. The pitch to Hazelbaker, that one's up high. 1 ball and 1 strike to the senior first baseman, Chase Hazelbaker again. Came out of nowhere on the basketball court this season.
Yeah.
Earned a starting spot, helped that team win a section championship And, one of his teammates, Owen Newcomer, named to the Round Ball Classic team, as he'll take strike one along with Luke Santo. Owen in attendance here today. I told him I see him at so many baseball games. I'm yelling from the press box down to the concourse, "Hey, Owen, you're at every game. Why don't you play?" He's like, "I just like watching."
Don't blame him.
Hey, baseball's not everyone's sport. As the 1-2 pitch up high inside as well on Chase Hazelbaker. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the senior. Runner at second reached on a walk. That's Shetterly. He advanced to second on the 5-3 by Dom Dorkin. As Wagner takes a look back at Shetterly. Now the 2-2. Hazelbaker sends one left side onto short. Beatty up with it onto first and under the glove of Hall, rounding third, heading for home is Shetterly. He will score, and the Commodores up 1-0 thanks to the E3.
Yeah.
So the Commodores strike first here in the first inning. Chase Hazelbaker drives in the run with the E3. Maybe an E6. We'll see what the official scoring wants to call it, but nonetheless, an error and a run scored for the Commodores. 1 out, 1 on, and it's Dan Olbreeze, the catcher. And the catcher, Olbreeze, takes ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 on, 1 out, 1 in this inning for the Frazier Commodores. Here on the Frazier Athletics Network. Wagner checks. Pitch in there. That's for a strike. I think it looks like they're going to call that a E6 with the low throw, so from what I am seeing. So nonetheless, an error scores a run. Wagner to the plate, and he misses to Olbreeze. 2 balls, 1 strike to Dan Olbreeze. And again, the Commodores, the top 5 in their order is what they were excited about this season offensively. And after that, it was a bit of a puzzle, trying to find the pieces that work, as that one misses to Olbreeze. As the count now 3 balls and 1 strike to Dan Olbreeze. As Olbreeze trying to move Hazelbaker along from first base. The pitch to the junior up over his head. Hazelbaker takes off for second, as that was ball 4. As what you like to see that Hazelbaker did there, Nick, is that if that ball gives the catcher Siebert any trouble, Hazelbaker's already in a full sprint. So if that takes a weird hop and either pops up the first base line and Hazelbaker has a shot at third, he wasn't kind of lollygagging. He was going full speed from the get-go there, as Olbreeze draws the second free pass of the inning against Wagner.
I really do like the patience that the Commodores hitters are taking at the plate today.
Outside for ball 1, the Braden Bassino plays football for the Commodores, and that ball was outside. And Bassino likes to go the other way. We've seen him do that successfully this season, as that one finds the strike zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bassino getting the signs from head coach John Malone over at third base. Justin Wise, the head coach of the McGuffey Highlanders, waiting patiently to hopefully get over to that third base bag to see if his team can answer, as another one high and inside on Braden Bassino. 2 balls, 1 strike, and again, Wagner just not clicking here in the first inning. And as I mentioned, according to the stats I found, this is his first outing of the season, the 2-1. Bassino fouls it off towards the dugout of the Highlanders, and now the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, just 1 man away. And now they're going to call an interference, I believe, on the catcher. So that's going to load the bases, as catcher's interference will load them up for Noah Ritchie, playing second base today. Again, we've seen him in the outfield a ton, playing out in left. And again, with Hazelbaker, not kind of wanted to protect that arm for the section games, playing him at first. You had to find someone to play second, and they wanted to get Daculus in the lineup, so they put him in the outfield and decided, let's give Ritchie a shot.
You always like to see the new alignments in non-section games, too.
As Ritchie takes it off the butt, and that's an RBI and another run scored for the Commodores. It's 2-0. As Bassino to second, Olbreeze to third, Hazelbaker will touch home, and the Commodores up by a pair. And now it's Vincent Daculus coming but first we'll have a conclave at the mound, as the infield will come in and join the coach to try to sort things out, as it's been command issue central for Luke Wagner. And then John Malone's going to talk to Daculus Over in the on-deck circle, again, Malone, a Connellsville grad, St. Vincent grad, a home run as a designated hitter, and he almost hit 2 grand slams in that same inning. His dad was telling us during it was during the scrimmage, I believe, against Ligonier Valley, and that, John had came up, hit a grand slam, then he sent one just foul, and on the next pitch, drove one to the center field wall and drove in 3. So 7 RBI in a grand slam in 1 inning as first pitch in there for a strike to Vincent Daculis. First game of the year, first start of the year. As on deck for the Commodores is Alex in the pitcher. As Daculis chops one to second. Thought about going to second, will not. It just takes the shore out at first, and the Commodores score another, an RBI ground out on the 4-3 by Daculis. That brings home Dan Olbreeze, and the Commodores up 3-0 as Bassino went to third and Ritchie went to second. Daculis, of course, retired, as I said, on the 4-3 putout. Strike 1 to Brock Allexson, the pitcher. And Allexson, it's one of those guys that get him in the weight room and watch in the next couple years what he could become. We saw Allexson earlier this year during a wiffle ball game right before Easter. And I jokingly said to Brock, hey, why can't you hit a baseball as hard as that wiffle ball? He's like, hey, it's coming. Brock, one of those kids from when I've been in the school subbing and just getting a chance to talk to Brock, he was saying, I really want to put in the work. I want to better myself. And I think this is a great start because he's willing to, and he has a coach that wants to put in the work with him as he takes a strike there. As Allexson down on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs and 2 on. 3 already in for the Commodores. 1 error in the inning. The pitch to Allexson. He fans him, and Allexson will leave a pair of Commodores on. But 8 men come to the plate. 3 of them come across to score. The Commodores, they don't record a hit in the inning. There was 1 error and 2 left aboard. After 1/2 inning of play, your score, Frazier 3, McGuffey coming to bat right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
You can enjoy the rustic decor of the Big Barn Country Store in Delhi from Route 51, just south of Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. Inside the store, enjoy the atmosphere and browse through a selection of delicious Amish foods, home-baked pies, a deli, a wide array of nostalgic candy, wine store, and much more. Open 7 days a week. Visit our website at bigbarnstore.com. That's bigbarnstore.com.
Just as you're looking. We're back here on the Frazier Athletics Network as it is 3-0 Frazier. Again, 2 errors in the inning. The catcher's interference. No at-bat, as Lanny made sure I was well aware of, coming over in the inning break. And you know what? This is a joy getting to work with Lanny, getting a sense, not broadcasting with him, but just getting to do same vicinity as Lanny, getting to be at Waynesburg and a chance to just listen to some of his stories in an hour and a half class of just Lanny kind of talking and telling us about broadcasting. It was a great learning experience, as I think this is going to be tonight for Brock Allexson.
Yeah, Brock Allexson, a young freshman, 6'8" frame. I'm excited to see what he can do.
As we'll take a look at the starting lineup, coming to bat will be Brock Wallace, the leadoff hitter who plays center field. Austin Beatty, the shortstop, will bat second. Jake Orr, the second baseman, will bat third. The pitcher, Wagner, is batting cleanup. The first baseman, Austin Hall, will bat fifth. Batting sixth will be Logan Siebert, the catcher, and seventh will be Brookman, the left fielder. Eighth, the third baseman, Jake Ross, and rounding out the starting 9, Ryan Keith, the right fielder for the Commodores. As I mentioned, it's the right-hander, Brock Allexson. Catching him will be Dan Olbreeze. He's caught every game thus far. Dom Dorkin at short with Ritchie at second. As we mentioned, that's kind of a new look. Hazelbaker over at first. Bassino at third. Daculis out in left. Shetterly in center. And Thomas in right.
I really do like the idea of getting the freshmen some experience early.
Allexson has seen action this year at first base, and That frame helps out a lot
Yeah.
at first base. I mean,
They can maybe get the ball there 3 to 2 seconds earlier.
he is a long guy, and that's his first high school pitch in the dirt for Alexson. So 1-0 the count to Brock Wallace, batting .571 on the year. Alexson in there with strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike, as that's the first strike thrown of his high school career by Brock Alexson, as everything's going to be a first tonight for him. Maybe first run against,
Yeah.
maybe first win, maybe first strikeout, maybe first walk. Only time will tell, as Alexson's 1-1 inside and low. 2 balls, 1 strike to Brock Wallace.
One thing that might be a little bit difficult for Alexson is pitching off the turf mound. It could be a little bit different than what we have back at home.
As Alexson sails one up high inside, 3 balls, 1 strike. No one on, nobody out. 3-0 the Commodores lead. 2 errors in that inning. As Alexson's 3-1 pitch. Swinging through that one and coming up empty was Brock Wallace. And Austin Beatty is on deck, the shortstop. .500 batting average. Pitch by Alexson. Payoff pitch does not find the strike zone. And there's ball 4. And Wallace walks down to first. So a leadoff walk. And now it's Austin Beatty, the shortstop. As I mentioned, a .500 batting average. Couple of walks, a couple of ribbies this year. Runner takes off inside, and Oldbreeze will keep it in his back pocket, and that's something that McGuffey does fantastically, and that's steal bases. That's number 15 here in game number 4. The 1-0 pitch by Alexson. That one's up high as well. 2-0 count now to Beatty. Yeah, a .500 average. Wallace at second. He stole second after recording a walk to start the inning. Alexson. That one inside. Ball 3 the call. 3-0 the count now as Brock Alexson trying to find a groove. One of those guys that saw action last summer, even though there was a canceled season for one of those Summer League rec teams, the 3-0. Alexson grooves it in there for strike 1.
Yeah, he played for Beaver Valley and some travel ball this summer.
Again, like he did here at Frazier, first base and pitching. So Alexson, the right-hander, steps off. And Alexson's going to have to be careful as make sure he doesn't make that gesture that he's coming to the plate to avoid a balk. 3-1 the count, 1 on, nobody out, 3-0 Frazier leads. Bottom half of the first, faking out the steal attempt was Wallace, and Beatty will walk. So the first 2 men are aboard here in the first inning via the walk, and now it's going to be Jake Orr. 300 average, 3 ribbies, no long balls this year, as no one on McGuffey or Frazier has went deep this year. Now on the softball team for the Commodores, that's a different story, as Riley Evans went deep against West Green. As Alexson to the plate. First pitch strike by Brock Alexson to Jake Orr, batting .300 on the season. Runner at second, Wallace. He stole second after reaching on a walk, and then it was a Beatty walk as Alexson to the plate, swinging through that one was Orr. So ahead in the count now, no balls and 2 strikes is Brock Alexson, looking for career strikeout number 1 against Jake Orr. Wagner, the pitcher, on deck, the senior. Alexson's 0-2 runner goes up high. Oldbreeze throw down to third, not in time, into the outfield. Daculus comes in. The run will come around to score. And they have the runner at third picked off, and he is out, says Ostrich, as Daculus gets it to Bassino. So the base is all of a sudden cleared up. 1 run comes in to score on the throw into left field by Oldbreeze.
in this ball game, that run really doesn't mean much, and at least they're able to get the out at third.
The out of third comes on the 7-5 putout, excuse me, as Alexson throws a ball there. 2-2 the count. Run number 1 came across the score there. It was Brock Wallace, stole third. Then on the throw, an error on Olbrys into the outfield brought home run number 1 for McGuffey. 3-1 here in the first. And now the 2-2 pitch by Brock Alexson. And that one's up high, count full again. And Alexson on the verge of walking his third batter of the game. To start here this evening. A game under the lights, first time this season for the Commodores. McGuffey, of course, did it Wednesday, and Alexson, 3 batters faced, 3 men aboard via the walk. Bases aren't loaded. Instead, 1 runs in, 1 man's out, and 1 man's aboard for Luke Wagner. 375 average for the pitcher. He gave up 3 in the top half as there was a pair of errors, and John Malone wants to have a word with his right-handed starter. And Wagner's turn will have to wait. Wagner has 5 runs batted in so far this season.
With Brock being a freshman, nerves could have something to do with his first outing. It is the first start of his career and kind of in a bigger moment under the lights here at Wild Things Park. It's kind of big for these kids.
Yeah, they were excited about getting the chance to do this, and that's why John, also the AD at Frazier, as I'm sure a lot of our listening audience knows. But he said this was kind of the only date that seemed like it was going to work for both teams, and he didn't want to take this experience away from his guys to come play at Wild Thing Park.
Yeah, I mean, it's one good experience, and I think everybody should deserve to have it.
Wagner surrendered 3 runs in the first. Runner takes off. Olbrys throw down late in another stolen base. As that is the 3rd of the game for McGuffey. They came in with 14 steals in 3 games, and they've already racked up 3 in inning number 1. And thanks to their speed, a run came in to score, but that's also how they got their out. And Alexson, another ball is thrown here in this inning. The count's now 1 ball and 1 strike to Luke Wagner, the pitcher. Alexson checks the runner at second, now looks home, gets his sign from Olbrys, agrees. The 1-1 from the freshman, inside, ducking out of the way, was Wagner. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on, 1 in, 3-1 the Commodores lead McGuffey. Alexson, the right-hander, comes to the plate. This one fouled off the backstop. And giving a run after that one was the man on deck, Austin Hall. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3 men have reached, none via the hit. We have 4 runs, no hits in the game at all. Alexson was ahead 0-2 on the last hitter before surrendering a walk to Orr. Now it's a 2-2 count, looking to get Wagner, his counterpart, on the hill. So again, check the runner at second. Now Alexson steps off as he's waiting for Wagner to step into that right-handed hitting batter's box. The 100 level filled out pretty nicely on the McGuffey side, sporadically for the Commodores, but again, great to see fans back in the park as the 2-2 from Alexson on the edge. Strike 3 called. There's number 1 for Brock Alexson, the freshman.
The first strikeout of his high school career.
Brock Alexson gets a big out there, now looking to get Hall as well, the man batting .273 with 1 ribby.
Brock Alexson looking to get out of this inning with minimal hurt.
As first pitch swinging, lined out to center, Shetterly ranging towards right field, and he'll be under it. He'll make the catch. F8 ends the inning. 1 run comes across, no hits in the inning, and 1 error in the inning. 1 runner left on base for the Franklin Regional. They're the number 1 team in the Trib Baseball Top 10, but 1 man left aboard for McGuffey here on the Frazier Athletic Network. We'll go to the second inning. Frazier up 3-1 over McGuffey.
Trust Company.
Just as your local State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto. And guess what you'll get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, State Farm agent Brian Warnick is your go-to agent in Perryopolis for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home and auto today. State Farm agent Brian Warnick will help you mix and match things perfectly. Call 412-668-0111 for surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Somerset Trust Company, now open in Perryopolis. We invite you to stop by and experience the Somerset Trust Company difference. Local decision making, convenient locations, extended hours, award-winning online and mobile banking, and more. Somerset Trust Company, community banking at its best. Now open in Perryopolis.
We're back at Wild Things Park. 3-1 Frazier on top of the Highlanders from McGuffey. And as I talked about going into the break, the Trib Live up 10, as I was looking at Franklin Regional's name, they are number 1 at 4-0. This covers all classifications. Bethel Park 4-0. They're number 2. South Fayette at 3 at 5-0. 4 is Blackhawk at 4-0. 5 is Pine Richland. 6 are the Knights from Norwin. 7 West Day. Then it's NA at number 8. Seton LaSalle is number 10. And Sarah Catholic is number 10 at a 7-0 mark. And that's a team that one of Frazier's opponents played already this year, as Washington took on Sarah Catholic earlier this year. As 1-0 is the count of the Commodore leadoff hitter this inning. That's Jacob Thomas. Second pitch to Thomas, swings through it. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Commodore right fielder. That one misses. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the Commodores took on Charleroi in softball today. We'll get to what happened over there later on in the broadcast. That one misses outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As both teams undefeated in section play this season. As the pitch is fouled off as Thomas spoils it and will remain even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. As 5 returning starters on this McGuffey team. One of the few teams that you really see returning a ton of players is this McGuffey team, as the 2-2 by Wagner swinging through that one on a pitch on the outer half is Thomas for out number 1. That's his second strikeout of the game for Wagner, and we're back up top. It's Aiden Shutterly. He has a walk and a run scored in inning number 1. A pitch up high. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, nobody on. Top of inning number 2. 3-1, the Commodores lead McGuffey. The 1-0. That one outside low in the left-handed batter's box. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wagner looking for a clean inning here. The 2-0 pitch. That one outside. 3-0 now the count, as control has been an issue for both pitchers. As Shutterly looking to find a way to get on base, and he will again. Another free pass in back-to-back innings for Shutterly. He's over at first, and once again it's Dom Dorkin. He's 0 for 1 with the 5-3 putout.
The patience by Shutterly again, really key for him to get on base.
The speedster. As Wagner going to check over. As the pitch to Dorkin, up high. 1 ball, no strikes to Dom Dorkin. Shutterly gets his lead over at first. The 1-0. High and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. As Wagner walked a duo of Commodores, hit a batter in inning number 1. He's already walked 1 this inning, behind now 2 balls and no strikes to Dom Dorkin. The 2-0. That one in there. 2 balls, 1 strike. as Wagner trying to fight his way back in the count. Wagner comes to the plate. Shutterly goes, throw into almost into center field. Great job by Beatty backing up, and it's a stolen base. Shutterly is swinging and missing on the pitch was Dom Dorkin.
Like you said before, the different field conditions, it looks like Shutterly almost slid past second base because you slide a lot faster on turf.
Yeah, so I was with Cal Dawson in my game here on Wednesday. And Cal Dawson, for those of you who may not know, another Waynesburg collie of mine, but Cal Dawson, the voice of the Washington Wild thing, so he was telling me all about the way this park plays as skied straight up into foul ground. First baseman Hall under it. Dorkin retired on the P3, and staying put at second is Shutterly with 2 outs. It's Chase Hazelbaker looking to pick up his teammate with a 2-out knock. But again, you know, Cal was saying it will play slower around home plate, but seconds are very fast because that's one of those they replace very often. Wagner checks Shutterly as he's dancing on the base path. Now comes the plate. Late swing, and missing that one is Chase Hazelbaker. No balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Shutterly takes off. Throw down is late, and Shutterly steals third as 2 stolen bases in the inning for the center fielder and the Commodores. Trying to drive him home. Now a wild pitch possibly gets the job done, but again, that's a risky play trying to swipe third. As they say, you never want to make the third out of an inning at third base, as we've already seen Malone unhappy when that's happened earlier this year.
Yeah, but I think Aiden has a speed, and he really has the trust behind him.
The 1-1. That one outside, and a good job by Siebert to come across and pick that to keep it in front. Otherwise, the speedy Shutterly might have been taking home. Absolutely gorgeous day as Hazelbaker swings through that one to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3-1 the Commodores on top. All came in the first without a hit. Still no hits for the Commodores as Hazelbaker spoils that one off. As Shutterly over touching the third base bag. Now takes his lead. Wagner trying to get Hazelbaker. The 2-2 outside, ball 3. As again, Siebert cutting across to hang on to that ball.
If that ball goes by him, it might be another Commodore run.
And again, it's also a different backstop you got to think of too.
Yeah.
This is a heavy backstop. It's not one of those fences, so you could get a lot more give. As Hazelbaker lines it back at the pitcher, and Wagner corrals it and tosses the underhand ball on to first. A 1-3 put out, possibly robbing Hazelbaker of an RBI. But the Commodores, they'll strand one more on the base path. No runs, no hits, and no errors in the inning. The Commodores lead 3-1 after 1.5 right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
As your local State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto. And guess what you'll get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, State Farm agent Brian Warnick is your go-to agent in Perryopolis for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home and auto today. State Farm agent Brian Warnick will help you mix and match things perfectly. Call 412-668-0111 for surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Speaking of Brian Warnick, let's talk about Delaney and what the softball team did today, Nick, as they had a home game
Versus Charleroi?
as they were victorious 5-4 over the Cougars. And you know what? A thing I want to point out before we really break it down, how about Nicole Palmer again? 4 runs against, 2 of them earned, 7 innings, struck out 9 more. She has been outstanding to start the year for that softball team.
Yeah, she really has, and I mean, it's also good to have that young blood in there to go in there and get the wins.
Delaney, as I said, talking about Brian, so have to mention Delaney. She had 1 hit, scored 1 run. Riley Evans drove in 1 on 2 hits, as Fosher had an RBI to her name, and 2 hits for the pitcher. Palmer drove in 1, scored 1, as she helped her own cause today, as the Commodores were victorious 5-4 against Charleroi, as the softball team, after those early season tough loss to York, a very good team, splitting with South Allegheny at home. Again, that's an upper classification game they played. Both went to extra innings, both via the walk-off. Great Saturday of softball there. They've kind of come to their own, and West Green, a powerhouse in the lower classification, they took care of business with them. As first pitch swinging is fouled off. Olbreeze couldn't find it, got a late hop, and still almost got it. As I'm sure glad he didn't was Logan Siebert. He's the man at the dish right now for McGuffey. Siebert, Brookman, and Ross do up this inning. See if the righty Alexson can settle in here. No RBI, no home run to speak of so far this year. The 0-1, and he lines this one into shallow left over the head of Bassino. Rolls towards the line. Dorkin picks it up and keeps the runner where he's at, and he kind of just nubbed it out as Bassino's sunglasses went flying off his head. He won't be needing those in about 2 more minutes.
Yeah, that was just one of those bloopers right over the third baseman's head that he can really do nothing about. That's just a great piece of hitting by McGuffey.
First hit of the game. We've had a lot of base runners. But again, that's the first player to get a hit today. Wagner robbed Hazelbaker. Alexson very weary of the runner. Siebert at first. He comes to the plate, and this one's fouled off past the third base bag. Otherwise, that would have been trouble as it headed down toward the Commodore bullpen. With how wide this kind of fence line is, they just let it go, which I saw that a lot on Wednesday. We had a player for Trinity throw a ball from over by the wild deck. That'd be to your right. Throw a warm-up pitch over to the fence, and they kind of said, yeah, let it go. And it was there for another half inning.
Looks like assistant coach Chris McManus going down to snag the ball.
Taking a look back, runner goes, throw out, throw down, not in time. As another stolen base for the Highlanders. That's number 4 on my count for McGuffey on the stolen base. Hasn't been a clean game at all, but Alexson trying to get the man at the plate. His team up by a pair. As lined a short over the head of Dorkin. Trying to cut it off as Daculus. He will, but he bobbles, so the run will come around and score. And it is going to be a RBI for Brookman. And it's a double, bringing home run number 2 with nobody out, as all the way around from second is Siebert for the second run for McGuffey. And that's why that stolen base becomes so big. Because even with the bobble, it might have become a play, but without a bobble there, and he's still at first, I don't think there's almost any way that Siebert was going to score. Or at least it would have been really close. As we're back down to Jake Ross for the first time tonight. Siebert gets his lead. Alexson's pitch is fouled off the backstop, and a fan flinched for her life as it went right at the face, but, you know, luckily those protective screens are there for a reason. They don't cover the dugout, but then once you get down to where the bullpen is, they start fencing it back up again. So there's a large section from the dugout down the third base line here at Wild Thing Park where there's no fencing or protections. That one up into the stands, and a fan going after it. No balls, 2 strikes to Jake Ross. 1 on, 1 in, nobody out. An RBI double for Brookman. Alexson checks the runner. The 0-2 by the right-hander. That one's spoiled again, back into the bleachers. Getting a little close to Smith's camera for your comfort there, Nick?
No, it's still pretty far away. I mean, we have this nice protective net, so I think we should be all right.
All I'm saying is if it comes near the camera, you got to dive out the window.
I'm not sacrificing that much. Sorry, Smith.
0-2 the count. 1 in, 1 on as this one's sent the other way into the stands again. clank off the bleachers, and it's rolling back down, and there goes some more Commodore faithful after the ball. Runner at second. 0-2 count. Alexson checks the runner. That's Brookman. The 0-2, Alexson has that one sent out into left. Daculus in, plays it on a hop as throw to third is just late. And Brookman will slide in safely as Ross on to first with the single. Now it's Ryan Keith, the right fielder. No stats for Keith yet this season. "90 feet away from a tie ball game. Alexson looks over at third. That's Brookman. Alexson, bunt shown. Suicide squeeze, no. Alexson picks it up, fires on to first. The runner goes home. Hazelbaker down to the plate. Throw is late. Pops out of the glove of Olbreys. And Albacino and Dorkin hustle back to cover the bag as 1-3 goes the putout and RBI, and it's a 3-3 game.
McGuffey used small ball to tie the game right there. That was really just an excellent placed bunt. And there's nothing the Commodores can really do about that. That was just a well-executed play by McGuffey.
Ross now at second. And if Olbreys catches that clean, they have a chance. But I don't think Hazelbaker knew. He seemed a little delayed on his throw as Alexson first pitch strike. 1 out, 1 on, 2 in. 3-3 game.
I think even if Olbreys catches that cleanly, he was still safe.
I think the big thing was Chase had a very delayed throw. It looked down to home as what you got to be doing, maybe your second short or third baseman, you got to be yelling at Chase, hey, that's the runner's going here. And you kind of figured that's what McGuffey had planned when it wasn't an initial suicide squeeze because he didn't go off the contact.
No,
so they had to have something planned there to kind of do it, and they knew the speedy Brookman had a chance. As Alexson's 1-1 pitch, up high, little chin music. 2-1 the count with 1 out and 1 on. A pair of Highlanders in. Again, both these teams played Charleroi. Frazier's opening game 8-4. They lost, scoring all their runs in the 7th as this one's fouled off, and it gets the bleachers.
Wouldn't like to be a bleacher today.
Bad day to be a bleacher. I'd agree with that. But it's, you look at that, as I was saying, 8-4 they lost. The last 2 games for McGuffey against Charleroi, 13-1 and 10-0 victories.
Those are some big victories.
And it's against a team that beat Frazier. Frazier got up 3-0, and McGuffey scored the last 2 innings. They have a duck on the pond with only 1 out and a 2-2 count to the man who just fouled that one off. That's Brock Wallace. He's 0-for-0 with a walk, a run scored. He scored on an E2. He stole a pair of bases. And it's been a busy day on the base path, and that's kind of what I thought coming into this game with the way McGuffey likes to play.
Yeah, they really do have a lot of speedsters on their team.
Pop straight up, and that's going to get the seats.
That's a little closer for comfort.
I'll tell you a story about a camera right here, right where we have this one set up. So
I don't want to hear it yet.
No, this is a good story. This has nothing to do with the baseball hitting it, but involves the man in the booth next to us. So as Alexson's pitch up high, for those of you who don't know, Lanny Fateri runs a broadcast camp during the summer at Waynesburg. A couple of his students, we would be the counselor. So I was counselors for a number of those games. But we had a torrential downpour one game. We had our camera up a little higher than we have maybe a row or two as this one's fouled off. And we're setting up because the counselors, we come early in the day. We'd be trying to set everything up. And we had a torrential downpour. We're over on the wild deck. You can't even see about from the wild deck to the foul line down the first base line. That's how hard it's raining. We already had the camera set up. We have the rain covers on them. Well, we get a huge gust of wind as this one's lined to center. Shetterly has it hop in front. Runner to the third. Shetterly gets it in as runners at the corner now with just 1 out as a single by Wallace brings up Beatty. But so a huge gust of wind, and next thing we know, we have a camera rolling down the bleachers.
Oof.
But listen, that was one of those cameras. Our cameras before they just replaced to HD from SD equipment, of course, after I graduated. You know, Carmichael's baseball coach, Richard Krause, in the Commodore section, chair of that department. He kept promising me by the end of my senior year I'd get them. We never got them. As runner goes, throw down. No one covers the bag, and it hits the runner. So that ends up saving a run for the Commodores as Olbrys and ill-advised throw down. And thanks to the hip of Wallace, the Commodores are still tied.
I think that might have been a little bit of a mental error by Olbrys. He could have forgot that there was a runner on third.
As, again, if that goes into center field, as neither of the players went to
Nobody
cover
was
the
there.
bag. The 0-1 ground ball gets past Dorkin. McGuffey leads for the first time tonight. They'll look to make it 2 as Dorkin's throw comes home well off the mark. Sliding in safe is Wallace. It's a 2-run single, and it's 5-3 McGuffey here in inning number 2 as Logan Brown loosening in the pen down to our left.
Yeah, McGuffey really just busted this game open with those 2 runs right there, taking their first lead of the game.
Ross, the 4th run. Wallace, the 5th. Frazier only down by 2. Runner goes. Olbrys tries to throw down again. Again, it's late and dropped by Dorkin, as it's been a stolen base festival here in the first 2 innings. McGuffey is averaging 3 stolen bases an inning. We're only a third of the way through this one, as that one misses by Alexson. 2 balls, no strikes to Orr. And again, Logan Brown loosening. He finished out the Bentworth game for the Commodores.
Got the save. Or no, he did not get the save. Roebuck got the save.
Roebuck got the save yesterday.
Second day, yeah.
Yep. He just gave Chase some rest.
Yeah. A little mixed up.
Original thought maybe Chase was going to go tonight, but again,
section game.
games are so much more important, especially when that's the huge goal for Malone in his first year, as that's ball 4 by Alexson. Fourth walk now by Alexson. And now Wagner back up. Runner at first and second. 1 down, 4 in. 5-3 game in favor of McGuffey. They trailed 3-0 after a half inning, but they've battled back to take this 5-3 lead. But a ground ball hit at the right person might get you out of this inning.
Very much so could.
Strike 1 on Wagner by Alexson. The freshman to the plate. Swinging through that one is Wagner. (5-3) lead, McGuffey over Frazier here on the Frazier Athletics Network. Alex Lyons, Nick Hicks with you. Alexson checks back at second. The 0-2. Blocked by Olbrys. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 4 in. Alexson steps off. Now we'll look back around the infield. The 1-2 by Alexson. That one misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Austin Hall is in deck. He would be the 9th man to come to the plate. He started the inning with his first debut of the inning. He'd be the 9th man. Siebert started the inning with a single and stole second, as the count now filled up at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Wagner. As Alexson was ahead early on, and with Logan Brown coming back down, seems to be warmed up. If Alexson doesn't get him, this could be his last batter with the bases loaded. It'd be tough sledding for Logan Brown coming in.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if he does not get him here. It would be his last batter.
The right-hander. The runner goes, now steps back. The 3-2 misses up high, ball 4. Wagner struck out in
Looks
the
like
first.
we have movement from the Commodores dugout.
Beatty the third or to second. Wagner to first. And here comes John Malone to the hill. See if he gets his right-hander. As Logan Brown stepped out of the dugout, so the day will be done for Brock Alexson, and you can see the frustration on the head of the freshman. Gets a tap from Brown, but shaking his head as he comes in, flings the hats as, again, like any competitor, not a night he wanted. So Logan Brown into the game. Alexson went 1 1/3 innings. We can get you some of the numbers on him, as he's still responsible for 3 runners. As head coach John Malone now going to head over to the McGuffey dugout.
I think it was just telling him the changes because Brock would come out of the lineup and Logan Brown would come in.
As it looks like that will be our only change, would be Alexson, Brown for Alexson, I should say. 5 runs surrendered thus far. He's responsible for 3 more. Alexson 1 strikeout. He's walked 5 batters. Gave up a total of just 5 hits as well. Again, we'll get the run total for Alexson. As Brown, I think, says he's good. So, runners will head back out to the base path. At first, we have a courtesy runner. It's going to be Logan Hatfield, the freshman, running for the pitcher. Pitchers and catchers, you can have the courtesy runner for without having to re-enter players. As I think that's going to be the last toss for Brown. Again, played against Bentworth for the Commodores, finishing it off in his first varsity appearance. In the Commodore section this year, Carmichael sits atop of it, 2-0 in the conference, 3-0 overall. Frazier second, 2-0 in the conference. And Best Center, their opponent on Monday, 2-0 in the conference, as Washington, California, and Bentworth all 0-2. That's why that win against Bentworth was so important, with the top 4 making the playoffs as of now being the thought. You never know how things could change as the season progresses. This one's line foul down the first base line, and it snowballs in 1 strike to Hall. Brown digs in the 0-1. As this one's popped shallow, foul territory. Hazelbaker ranges over and he makes the catch. And now what I was dreading and knew was going to happen this inning, I have to go over to the next column in my scorecard. That's the problem with paper, I know, but we're going to scratch it out. Scratch out inning number 3. That's going to become a second inning again.
It's a sad day to be a scorecard.
I had to do this at Bethel Park twice today, too. I had a 5-run and a 10-run inning for Bethel Park in softball today. They 15-run to Mount Lebanon. That was a beautiful, beautiful facility at Mount Lebanon Middle School. It was actually Jefferson Middle School. That's where the softball team plays.
Really?
Gorgeous facility. As that first one for strike 1 by Brown. But, I mean, in general, Mount Lebanon's high school facilities are incredible. I was there during the basketball playoffs for Trib Live. But, I mean, absolutely beautiful, beautiful facilities out there. Brown has it line foul down the left side. Siebert started this inning with a single, a stolen base, and scored the second run. He's now behind no balls and 2 strikes to Logan Brown, trying to close the book on Brock Alexson.
Logan Brown trying to stop the bleeding.
Keep it a 2-run game with 1 more out. As the 0-2 by Brown. Ground ball third. Bassino goes for the tag. Misses. Throw to first off the mark. And he gets nobody. As another run comes across to score. It's Beatty. He's the 6th run. Or to third. Second goes Wagner. And to first is Siebert. And, Nick, do you want to see what they're going to score that on the game changer?
I will take a look, but me personally, I think it's an error.
I'd say it's an E5 personally, but I'd agree.
My
as
game changer isn't updated, so we'll go with an E5 for now until we get an official ruling.
I blame Jake.
Coach Jake down there.
Ground ball. Second. Ritchie. Short way to Dorkin. 4-3. The bleeding ends. It's 11 Highlanders coming to the plate. They pop across 5 runs. They are up 6-3 as for 5 hits in the inning. There was 1 error for the Commodores, and there was a trio of Highlanders left on the base path, and we've played 2 full here from Wild Things Park. Your score, McGuffey 6, Frazier 3, right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
The Big Barn Country Store in Delhi from Route 51, just south of Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. Inside the store, enjoy the atmosphere and browse through a selection of delicious Amish foods, home-baked pies, a deli, a wide array of nostalgic candy, wine store, and much more. Open 7 days a week. Visit our website at bigbarnstore.com. That's bigbarnstore.com.
We're back here on the Frazier Athletics Network. Alex Lyons, Nick Hicks with you. 5 spots in the bottom of the second for McGuffey. They're up 6-3.
We're already an hour into this game, and it's only the top of the third.
I'm going to say you have Lou Root and Alex Lyons in the same building. That's what happens when Lou and I get put together for announcing. And for those of you who've heard me talk about Lou and announcer jinxes, he's in the booth next to us, and I worked with Lou on Tuesday. I heard that quite a few times, Nick. If you were wondering, I mean.
Hey, I'd do it to you, too.
It's well-deserved. I understand.
The Commodores are really going to try and have to answer this inning and maybe get back a few of those runs they gave up in the last half inning. Daniel Obrey stepping to the plate.
That's first one in there. Strike 1 to Dan Olbreeze. Still no hits against the right-handed Wagner. As that one inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm starting to wonder, Nick, if we have a light in this room. I don't think we do. I'm actually looking above our heads. There is one. Might have to find that as we start to darken up as Olbreeze cracks one out to left. Ranging back in, up over the head towards the wall. That's going to be trouble for McGuffey. Into the corner. Olbreeze round second. He's headed for third. Throw comes in very, very late. Olbreeze slides in with a lead-off triple for Dan Olbreeze, and that's just what the doctor ordered for the Commodores.
That was a good announcer's jinx right there.
Every now and then. It's about time I do something right, as Lou would say.
That was just a really nice piece of hitting to place that right down the line for Daniel Olbreeze for the triple.
A couple other parks, that might get out, too.
Yeah, 100%. This is a bigger park.
Big ballpark. Now, Wagner going to toss it out to his second baseman. They're going to appeal, saying Olbreeze didn't touch second base. They lose that appeal. Thankfully, if you're a Commodore fan. The pitch to Bassino. That one in there. Strike 1 to Braden Bassino. The senior plays football for the Commodores as well. Leadoff triple. Got the Commodores going here in inning number 3. And now Bassino down, no balls and 2 strikes. And getting some signals from head coach John Malone down the third base line. 0-2. Vecino takes ball 1 on the 0-2, up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes, reached on the catcher's interference, so no official plate appearance thus far for Braden Vecino. Vecino swings through it, he strikes out, and there goes out number 1 this inning, and for now, the runner stranded over at third base, and now it's the second baseman, Noah Ritchie. He was hit by a pitch to drive in a run for the Commodores. It was run number 3. That was Olbrys who came around, or excuse me, Daculus drove home a run as well. I think Ritchie did as well. Ritchie got hit by the pitch. Was that to load the bases, Nick?
It was to load the bases. You are correct.
I was going to say, for some reason I thought the hits batter drove in a run, and then I realized that's not right because I didn't have an RBI written down for him, and I know I would. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out.
What are the sole left-handers on this Commodore team?
Outside, count even. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Is calling that one outside was Ron Ross, the home plate umpire.
I think he might be the only lefty.
At least in the starting lineup, or
Yeah,
normal playing lineup as another
Hit
hit
by
batters.
Another one.
Ritchie wears it again.
Must be a magnet in that jersey or something.
It's like Marty's car at Charleroi.
Yeah.
Daculus, he drove in.
Looks like I was
a run.
wrong.
Daculus hasn't played much this year, so
True.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt,
True.
Nick. This is only, his first game, first start,
Yeah.
definitely. I don't think I wasn't at the Bentworth games. I didn't think he played either of those.
Yeah, he didn't start.
Brown on deck. Daculus drove in Olbrys in his first AB on the ground out.
Kind of surprised to see Ritchie not in motion here.
Olbrys led things off with the triple. Vecino struck out, then a hit by pitch. Now it's Daculus outside. There goes Ritchie, and he will get it without a throw. Stolen base for Noah Ritchie. So runners at second and third now with just 1 man away. The Commodores down by 3, surrendering 5 runs in the bottom of the second inning as Alexson had all sorts of control issue in his first start. That pitch inside and in the zone as perfectly placed by Wagner makes it 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 up high, 3 balls, 1 strike, and now 1 ball away from loading the bases. That would be for Logan Brown on the on-deck circle.
Really good patience for the freshman Daculus here at the plate.
The 3-1 inside, and that's ball 4. He'll walk down 90 feet to first, and now they're loaded up for Logan Brown, his first plate appearance of the game.
This is a really good opportunity for the pitcher Logan Brown to really help himself out here in this inning. A hit to the outfield could bring in potentially 2.
You have some speed, and I'm sure Brown would be happy with a walk. Get at least 1 back.
Yeah.
Here in the third. Wagner to the plate outside. No, on the outer zone. In the outer third for strike 1. Not a pitch Logan Brown could have done much with.
No, not at all.
The golden helmet of Brown, and Brown now 0-2 as he swings through that one. Bases loaded, 1 out. Frazier down by 3, looking to get back into this one as Brown strikes out swinging. And Logan Brown will now put his fate into the hands of Jacob Thomas, who coming into this week has been the most consistent hitting Commodore. He was the Frazier Athletics Show Athlete of the Week. And Nick, we never put those graphics out. I just realized that.
Yeah, we did not. We're slacking a little bit over here.
Coming to a Twitter and Facebook account
Near you.
near you tomorrow.
Yes. Maybe tonight.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
As that one in there for a strike. As I think, to quote geometry and statistics teacher Dave Fedor at Frazier, we are a little behind the times at Frazier High.
We are behind the times at Frazier High. Dave Fedor, what a good guy.
Coached middle school basketball for the Commodores. As the count now 2 balls and 1 strike to the right fielder, Jake Thomas. Two one. That one bounces but kept in front by the catcher, Siebert, and he'll keep everybody at bay for now, but it's 3 balls and 1 strike. And with your 9-hole hitter, not saying Thomas is a bad hitter at all, but I kind of would be surprised if Malone gives him the green light here, especially with Shutterly on deck. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 6-3 McGuffey lead. The pitch. That one catches the outer third. Count now full, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. The Commodores trying to claw their way back into this one against the Highlanders from McGuffey. The payoff pitch, runner goes, fouled off as everyone else was off besides Olbrys. He kind of, I think, maybe forgot the count. Because normally everyone goes on.
Yeah. A little bit of another mental error.
Bases full of Commodores. 3-2 counts. 2 outs. The payoff pitch inside. No. Strike 3 called. Richie can't believe it or make that Thomas. And I think Olbrys had a word to the umpire as well, and he might have to watch it as he is the opposing catcher, so might not be getting any favors. We'll keep it here this inning break, but a strikeout looking, which looked well inside on Thomas, and McGuffey
Got out of that one.
gets out of the bases loaded jam, no runs, still no hits for the, or 1 hit for the Frazier Commodores, no errors in the inning, and a trio of Commodores left on board the base path. We've played 2.5 here from Wild Things Park, and your score, McGuffey 6, Frazier 3 here on the Frazier Athletics Network. But as I said, we'll keep it here because I'd like to tell you about one of our other sponsors here on the Frazier Athletics Network. Don't have a spot recorded yet, but it's coming. We have 2 we still don't have spots for. Of course, our friends at Fox's Pizza, you know, Perryopolis, Carmichael's, Uniontown locations. But also Mirror Salon, located at 301 West Murphy Avenue, Connellsville, Pennsylvania. You can contact them at 724-562-7737. That's 724-562-7737. Or go to www.vargo.com/Mirror Salon LLC. And maybe talk to the owner, Casey Garlick. Stylist Blair Malone. I mean, no relation to John or anything.
Nah.
Not at all.
Nah.
And Kelsey Mason doing the nails. Maybe a deal coming for all you Frazier prom goers out there in the near future. We'll see
at the end of this month
what happens with that, but that's a possibility. Again, thank you to Mirror Salon, one of our friends here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
Tell him Marty sent you.
As we get set for inning number 3, the bottom half, and I got to scratch out that 4 and make it a 3 on my spotter board. And we are going to be leading things off with Jake Ross, the third baseman. He singled, came around to score run number 4. As Logan Brown pitched 2/3 of an inning in relief of Allison thus far, and coming out for his first full inning of work and throws ball 1.
I really do like the experience that McGuffey's given here, though. They have their own team's walk-up songs and the scoreboard run, and it's really nice. Feels like a real ball game.
One of 3 teams using this as their home ballpark. His line drive center field, Shutterly over. He makes the catch as he shaded left center, and F8 starts the inning. Trinity is also playing here, and I cannot remember off the top of my head the third team.
Does Washington play here or no?
No, I know it's not Washington.
I know they used to in the past.
Cal and I were talking about this Wednesday, and we couldn't remember either. But, again, he works here, so I think it's a little worse that he doesn't remember versus me.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the Frontier League Broadcaster of the Year it's more on him. He works for the Wild Things. Great broadcaster, Cal Dawson, another Waynesburgian. There's a million of us in the broadcasting world as Brown in the number hits Ryan Keith. and he'll walk down 90 feet to first base. Back to the top of the order we go. Brock Wallace, the center fielder. Walked in the first, stole a pair, came home on an E2 by Olbreeze and scored the game's first run for McGuffey. That made it 3-1 at that point. And then in inning number 2, he singled, stole second, eventually scored the 5th run for McGuffey as first pitch swinging, skies it out to left. Dakalis finds it. He looked like he was losing it in the lights. And again, that's another factor that you're not used to seeing here playing in these night games. And again, McGuffey, more similarity, more used to this, as, I mean, they played here Wednesday nights. It's where they play their home games. So a little more familiarity for McGuffey, but again, something Frazier got to get used to. And I think that's, when you talk about a legitimate home field advantage, I think it's for Trinity, truly, for McGuffey, for the teams that play in this turf ballpark, and when you get the night game, yeah, it's a great experience. Is that one misses inside, 1 ball, no strikes, but it's a completely different style of field and different, I mean, it's just different. And if you're not used to it, it's tough, and you're truly getting a home field advantage, I think. As that one's in there for Brown, 1 ball, 1 strike. But I'm also going to say this is by far the best park that any team probably plays at in the WPIAL.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think closely followed would be W&J right across the yard.
W&J is a very nice facility as well. I've announced numerous games there as this one's fouled off. One point in my announcing career, I went from announcing a baseball game at W&J to driving to Chatham out in Homestead at Westfield to announce a baseball game there. Halfway down on my way to Chatham, I got like a massive nosebleed. I had blood all over me. Had to find somewhere to change clothes because I couldn't go announce all bloody. So, yeah, quick story is another single there for McGuffey.
Looks like McGuffey had the hit and run in effect right there.
As Beatty singles, going to third was Keith. He reached on a hit by pitch. They sandwich the F7 by Wallace. It's Orr at the dish now. No official ABs. He's walked twice. Brown 1 out away from the first 0 of the game for the Commodores. See if they can get it here. Brown checks the runner at first. As a hefty swing and a miss by Jake Orr, the second baseman. But we've talked about a lot this year. The lost season, you know, you have, in a sense, a redshirt freshman, or redshirt sophomore is like a redshirt freshman in a sense, or a sophomore is like a redshirt freshman, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This McGuffey team, 5 returner starters. Runner goes. Olbreeze fakes it. Now they got the man caught in a run down third. Throw down to third. In time, they got him. 2-3 pickoff at third base of Ryan Keith. As Olbreeze pump faked the throw to second, kept it, tossed it down to Bassino, and that will end the inning with no runs coming across on just 1 hit. No errors in the inning, and 1 McGuffey base runner left on the base path. We've played 3 full here from Wild Things Park. Your score, McGuffey 6, Frazier 3, right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
Somerset Trust Company, now open in Perryopolis. We invite you to stop by and experience the Somerset Trust Company difference. Local decision making, convenient locations, extended hours, award-winning online and mobile banking, and more. Somerset Trust Company, community banking at its best. Now open in Perryopolis.
We move on to inning number 4 here from Wild Things Park. Beautiful venue here this evening for some Friday Night Lights baseball edition.
Yeah. That was really, on that last play there, that was a heads-up play by Dan Olbreeze to fake it to second and then get the runner at third. I think that's a really key part in this ball game, and let's see if they can carry the momentum over to the hitting side of it.
Commodores left them loaded in the top half of the third. They've left 6 runners aboard in the first 3 innings of play. And that's something they're going to have to kind of right the ship here. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third. As I mentioned, McGuffey returning 5 stars, including some extremely talented players like Austin Beatty, who's going to Davis and Elkins, Jake Orr, who's going to Seton Hill, and also Luke Wagner, who's on the hill today, also plays outfield. And, Seton Hill connection runs deep at Frazier in a sense. Logan Hartman, the ace of the softball team there. Of course, daughter of Donnie Hartman and Mandy Hartman, head softball coach, assistant softball coach, and head volleyball coach, assistant softball coach, as that one's fouled off by Shutterly. Of course, switched around. Mandy head on volleyball, assistant on softball. Donnie head on softball, assistant on volleyball. But those two phenomenal coaches for Frazier. And, again, Zach Kiefer, phenomenal coach that the Commodores have. Buck Watkins, great coach. Now John Malone, I think, adding to that list. And it all starts with this coaching for the Commodores. And when you find the right man for the job or right lady for the job who really relates to the players well, you're going to see a great change in culture. And, the Buckisms, or is that what we were calling them?
Yeah, Buckisms.
Or Buckology even?
Yeah, no, it was Buckology. That's what it was.
I think either way, when you get those mentality and mindset instilled in your athletes, as that one's to the backstop, and Shutterly, Wagner wants no piece of him. That's 3 walks and 3 ABs as Aiden Shutterly down the base path 90 feet to first.
Larry Mikeswood does a good job with the golf team over there. Chase, pitcher. I'm not
Chase, a golfer and a pitcher and a basketball player.
That's what I'm going with.
Chase does it all, Nick. Chase does it all.
He's
But
jack of all trades.
I'll tell you, that's the one thing I regret not doing in high school, starting golf earlier.
Yeah.
I am terrible at golf, but, man, I love it.
That's what I always say. Chase is going to win a lot of money off us golfing later on in life.
Strike 1 to Dorkin, 1 on, nobody out. 6-3 McGuffey leads. And, I'm supposed to go golfing early tomorrow morning.
Nice.
So
Early tee time.
whoever found the lights, I'm a big fan of you, so thank you. Big thank you to the McGuffey students up here helping us out, running the scoreboard, turning the lights on. Fantastic.
Great hospitality here.
1-1 the count. Dom Dorkin at the dish. Shutterly at first. He was walked for the 3rd time today. Wagner bounces it. That gets to the backstop. Hard hop right back to the catcher, Siebert, as advancing on the wild pitch is Shutterly. Was he off and going before that pitch was thrown? Did you see?
I do believe he was.
Give him a stolen base.
I'll check with the,
Is that actually up to date now?
It could be.
It says 0-0 there. That's not promising, Nick.
It says unfinished, too. Maybe disconnected from the Wi-Fi down there.
Dorkin fouls that one off into the wild deck. I was telling Cal on Wednesday, it's odd announcing a game for me up in this press box in a sense because, when I was in sports announcing camp, we announced we got a chance to announce part of a Wild Things game down at the wild deck. And, when I've not run the camp, when I helped with Lanny's camp, who does an amazing job with, big reason I went to Waynesburg and even stepped into broadcasting was from that camp. But, when I'd help out Lanny with his camp as a counselor, being down there for the broadcast, it was kind of just weird being in the press box for a game as Dorkin strikes out on the 3-2.
I like being in the press box.
I'm a big fan of it. Hey, we have one at softball.
A nice view here.
We're going to get one at baseball, right? Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Probably not.
I wasn't at the softball field today. As I said, I was at Bethel Park. You were there. Or I was at Mount Lebanon for Bethel Park, Mount Lebanon. You were there. How are the stairs coming, Nick? We still got our ladder?
We do not have a picnic table anymore. It is now broken, and there's no stairs yet.
Hey, I started the break on the picnic table. I didn't finish. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't know who finished it, but it was broken when I walked over there today. I was kind of disappointed.
Well, it got to be one of the coaches, you think.
Maybe.
Hazelbaker fouls it off. That catches iron in the stands.
Hits off the first base side concession stand.
PIHL postseason underway here coming up soon on Monday, or it's underway. Semifinals start Monday from RMU and also Alpha Ice Arena. Very excited for those. That one up high to Hazelbaker. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Shutterly over at second. He stole the bag after walking. And so if you have any interest in the PIHL postseason, Trib Live is your place for that. I know I'll be on the call for at least one or so of those games. And, you know, Bobby O works at Trib as well. Great guy. We always had a running joke because the last game before everything shut down was a hockey game. This one to Hazelbaker. Popped up on the infield and falling as the catcher as that's high off the backstop. So the fall doesn't matter nonetheless as Hazelbaker stays alive. But it was that mid-March. We had a semifinal game at RMU. And after that, that was like the last game. So we'd always joke that, you know, they can't put Bob and Alex together anymore because we're going to shut down the whole network again. We've announced since. We have not shut down since, so.
Better knock on some wood.
Is this wood?
I don't know. Close enough.
I think the bottom's wood.
Yeah.
This is definitely wood here.
Yeah, there you go.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out runner at second inside to Hazelbaker. And he'll duck out of the way.
A little bit of chin music right there. Speedy center fielders on second base in scoring position.
Again, as you said, the speed on second's big. That Hazelbaker getting anything to the outfield has a good chance of scoring a run as Hazelbaker pokes that one foul.
So
Staying alive.
Way to protect the plate.
And you like the approach, though, going with 2 strikes trying to go the other way if you're Hazelbaker. That's one thing I don't understand. You see guys like Joey Votto, who's made obviously a living of it, chokes up on the bat and just goes the other way. As that one handcuffs the catcher, there goes Shutterly down to third, slides in safe on the wild pitch.
90 feet closer moves Aiden Shutterly, and now he's on third base.
0-2 the count it was to Hazelbaker. Now it's full at 3-2. The Commodores stranded the bases loaded last inning. Old Breeze let it off with the triple. And now they're trying to get a run here. Hazelbaker ground ball up the middle. That's through. Shutterly scores. Hazelbaker an RBI single, and the Commodores back within 2. A great piece of hitting by Hazelbaker, battling back from behind in the count. And now an RBI single as Hazelbaker aboard for the second time. He's now 1 for 3.
Hazelbaker really fought through that at bat, maybe choked up on the bat a little bit, and sent it right back towards the pitcher, right up the middle to advance Aiden Shutterly. Now we have a 4-6 ball game.
Old Breeze went very deep with a triple in his last AB. Again, in a lot of ballparks, I think even at home for Frazier, that one could get out.
Yeah.
1-0 the count. And that thing about that pitch that Shutterly took third on, it was just handcuffed the catcher. It was close to being in the zone. That I think with it being dropped, the ump never got a good eye at that. So it kind of took all possibility of it being called a strike away. High outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strike to Old Breeze. 1 in, 1 out, 1 on. 6-4 McGuffey leads. Pitch outside, 3 balls, no strikes. Rio catches the zone. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 on, 1 out. Here at Wild Things Park, home of the Washington Wild Things. As that one bounces, Old Breeze draws the free pass. As Hazelbaker will trot 90 feet to second. And the Commodores have 2 on and 1 out. Braden Bassino, the linebacker, and third baseman coming to the dish. You know, we were talking about, again, later in the year what he could become. And last time we talked about what he could become later in the year, he smacked an RBI single.
And now McGuffey's going to change pitchers.
Wagner exits the game, and he is done. Like we saw Alexson leave the game and not return. It's going to be Jansen Durbin, the sophomore. As over at first base for Old Breeze, the Commodores bringing in Justin Sundstrom. I think that's his first varsity action of the year.
He
Did he courtesy ran at Bentworth?
Yeah, Bentworth.
So Wagner's going to go 3 1/3 innings. We'll wait, obviously, to get the rest of the line on him and get some of the numbers right here, as he's given up just 2 total hits in this ball game with him exiting. 6 strikeouts for him. Again, he's responsible for both men on the base path right now, so we can't give you his run total. He's also walked Shutterly 3 times. A 4th walk came to Olbreeze, and a 5th walk to Daculus. Also, he's hit 2 batters, and that's Noah Ritchie twice. And he'll exit, as I mentioned, for Durbin. Looking, well, we have a chance at the section, 3A Section 4. McGuffey right now sitting at 2-0 at top of the section. At second is Southmoreland. That was the Commodores' first victor of the season, as head coach John Malone's first win, Dom Durkin's second win of his high school career in his first start. That was an all-around good game for the Commodores. Brownsville at 1-1 in the section sits at third. Yawk at 1-1. They're down at fourth. I saw Yawk get beat up on the other day in baseball, as also you have Charleroi and Waynesburg 0-2 both in the section. First pitch by Durbin in there, strike 1. That's to Braden Bassino. Reached on catcher's interference in E2, no AB, and then struck out with a runner at third and nobody out. 0-1 inside ball, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 on, 1 in this inning for the Commodores. It's 6-4. The 1-1 outside, 2 balls, 1 strike as Durbin facing his first batter of the game here in inning number 4. The 2-1 by Durbin, sent the other way. Throw to second in time. Sundstrom to retire. Throw back to first is late. And Hazelbaker thought about trying to go home but does not, as a fielder's choice puts Bassino on first. It's the 4-6 retiring Olbreeze, and Hazelbaker, as I said, went to third and thought about testing his luck. So Hazelbaker at third, over at first Bassino, a wild pitch possibly away from another Commodore run. First pitch gets away but stays inside the circle out at home plate. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Noah Ritchie, the second baseman. First start at second base for him. That one inside as well. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Commodores down by 2. A single should bring home another run, barring a base running error by the Commodores. The 2-0, swinging through that one and missing as Bassino swipes second, as Ritchie now at a 2-1 count with runners at second and third. Hazelbaker stands at third. He had an RBI single up the middle. That one inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a 2-2 count. It's a lot of 2s.
Yeah.
2 errors for both teams. 2 hits for the Commodores.
2-2-2-2-2-2.
The 2-2, strike 3 as swinging through that one was Ritchie, as the Commodores tack on another run as they try to claw their way back in it on just 1 hit. No errors in the inning, hours left on the base pass. We've played 3.5 here from Wild Things Park. Your score, McGuffey 6, Frazier 4, right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
Just as your local State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto. And guess what you'll get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, State Farm agent Brian Warnick is your go-to agent in Perryopolis for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home and auto today. State Farm agent Brian Warnick will help you mix and match things perfectly. Call 412-668-0111 for surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And we are back here on the Frazier Athletics Network. Alex Lyons, Nick Hicks with you from Wild Things Park. Beautiful weather for baseball, and it's been this way all season long, and you absolutely love to see it. As again, besides that Thursday game leading into Easter, which, hey, that just gave the teams a nice long Easter break.
Yeah.
I mean, besides that, it's been picture perfect.
This might be some of the best baseball and softball weather we ever got here in Western Pennsylvania.
Especially for early season. That's where it gets dicey, is these early seasons. You don't know if you're going to have snow.
A lot of cancellations.
Or rain. And again, it's really been just one cancellation. Even today, you had rain. At least we did it back in Perryopolis. I don't necessarily think they got much up here in this area. From what I could tell, it might have been the top or the end of a cell hitting up here from what I could see checking my radar. But even if that cell that we got in Perry would have come through here, I think the fields would have been fine because they're small enough cells early enough in the day that it wouldn't have been an issue. Really, besides opening day, where you saw the mud at Charleroi, they played on it, and then Frazier having to go to York to play a game instead of playing at home. His first pitch by Brown, up high, ball one, as that's the leadoff man this inning, Jake Orr, the second baseman. But, I mean, besides those first couple games and then the one snow date, it's been great. As Brown now behind in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. McGuffey up by a pair over the Frazier Commodores here in the bottom of inning number 4. The 2-0 by Brown, hammered back out the center. That sends Shutterly ranging back over his head. That's to the wall. Hard running and rounding second is Orr. This could be inside the park. He rounds third. He's heading for home. It's not going to be a play. It is. And he is safe inside the park. Home run for Orr. But what a throw by Dom Dorkin. It didn't look like it was going to be close, and he put that on the money for Olbrys.
Dan Olbrys not happy with that call.
Olbrys, he's very, what you would say, wears
vocal.
His emotion on his sleeves.
Yes.
An inside the park home run gives McGuffey a 7th run, and now they're going to peel over to third. He touched, they say.
Jake Orr really just roped that thing to all the way to the warning track here in center field, and I believe it's about 405 maybe. I don't see the sign up there, but if from memory.
First pitch strike. This is to Durbin. His first debut of the game. He replaced Wagner.
How deep would you say that is?
I think it was 415, I believe.
415?
And Shutterly, he didn't get a good jump on that ball either. As that one misses. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Durbin. And I didn't think that play was going to be close, but then Dom Dorkin threw an absolute missile, and I thought Olbrys had him for a second. But
I thought he did too, but we don't have the best angle up here, so I'll give it to the
umpire. Umpire standing right on top.
Yep.
No better man to call it than the guy standing right there, unless it's Jerry Meals.
Huh.
The 1-1. This one's launched foul.
or Angel Hernandez.
Into the wild deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Luke Wagner went 3 1/3 innings, 4 total runs against for the Commodores. 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, 5 walks. Durbin batting .200 on the season. He is 1 for 5.
Sounds like
Excuse me, this is Wagner check back into bat.
Yeah. Sounds like some chirps came from the Commodores dugout after that one.
The 2-2 by Brown. This one's hammered down the line. If it's fair, it has a chance. Ranging back on the track. Daculus makes the catch.
Another one hit all the way to the warning track, but Daculus able to track that one down.
And that's gone in 99.8% of high school ballparks. What a shot. I thought Olbrey's got a hold of that one. He really got a hold of that one, and being Wagner, as he was re-entered to hit there. First one misses. Ball 1 to Austin Hall. 0 for 2, popped out and foul ground to Hazelbaker in the second. As McGuffey matches the Frazier 1 spot in the top of the inning, looking to make it a crooked number, and that's in there for a strike by Brown. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 in on the inside the park homer. Yeah, McGuffey a classification up from the Commodores in 3A. As Brown to the plate, and this one's sent out to center, ranging over towards right is Shutterly. The sure-handed center fielder makes the grab, and Austin Hall is retired for the 3rd time today, 2nd time, thanks to Shutterly. And I think John Malone might be getting ready to make a change as we see him out on the turf with his scorecard in hand. Now he's going to step back into the steps. Thinking about something, I think.
Yeah. Looks like he's talking to assistant coach Chris McManus down there. Maybe coming up with something.
It's up for his wife a couple times. Apparently that her class loves me.
Heather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not easy. You know, I can't do the elementary, middle school games or elementary teachers too often, and those kids seem to enjoy having me. And, you know, got to be at a baseball field at 4 o'clock. A little hard getting out of a elementary school gig at 3:30 as that one's in there for a strike. No balls, 2 strikes.
That was a nice pitch by Logan Brown to paint the outside corner.
He hasn't been bad here against a good McGuffey team. And again, this is a experienced McGuffey team against some inexperienced Commodore pitching.
Yeah. All freshmen have pitched so far.
Strike 3, housekeeping, Olbrey's. Hazelbaker, 2-3, ends the inning as the housekeeping puts it away. 1 run on 1 hit inside the park homer as Orr went flying around the base pass, but Brown comes back to retire the next 3. No errors, nobody left the board. We've played 4 full here from Wild Thing Park, and your score, McGuffey 7, Frazier 4, right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
Somerset Trust Company, now open in Perryopolis. We invite you to stop by and experience the Somerset Trust Company difference. Local decision making, convenient locations, extended hours, award-winning online and mobile banking, and more. Somerset Trust Company, community banking at its best. Now open in Perryopolis. You can enjoy the rustic decor of the Big Barn Country Store in Delhi from Route 51, just south of Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. Inside the store, enjoy the atmosphere and browse through a selection of delicious Amish foods, home-baked pies, a deli, a wide array of nostalgic candy, wine store, and much more. Open 7 days a week. Visit our website at bigbarnstore.com. That's bigbarnstore.com. Just as your local.
We're back. Wild Things Park here on the Frazier Athletics Network. Alex Lyons and Nick Hicks here with you on the Frazier Athletics Network. If you want to stay up to date on all things Frazier Athletics, make sure you tune into the Frazier Athletics Show. You can listen to it where all podcasts are available, Anchor, Spotify, whatever your choice is. Go ahead and take a listen as we got you ready for the baseball season. We've recapped it thus far, and obviously we're covering as many games as we can here on the Frazier Athletics Network as the Commodores riding a 3-game winning streak, and they got to get the offense going and start putting some zeros up defensively. They've only done that 1 inning defensively as they've been shut out in 2 of their 4 innings of work thus far.
The Commodores are chasing their first winning season since 10-11.
It's been a while for the Frazier Commodores. We talked about the goal being the postseason for Frazier, and they have not won a playoff game since 2011. That was against Carlington 6-5 as that strike 1 to Daculus. He's 0 for 1 with a walk and an RBI on a 4-3 putout. Daculus, hefty cut, swings through it. There's the timing just not there for the freshman. They did have a non-losing season in 2012 as Daculus grounds this one past the pitcher on to second, and firing it on to first is Orr. 4-3 goes the putout, but again, as you mentioned, it's been a while since a winning season. They were 10-10 in 2012, but it's not a winning season.
Yeah.
It's a 500 season. They haven't won a section championship since 1990. They've won 12 of those total. And again, they're under first-year head coach, first-year athletic director, first-time full-time teacher, John Malone. Talk about a man with a busy schedule. Strike 1 to Brown. His second AB struck out with the bases juiced as Wagner got 2 bases-loaded strikeouts of Brown and Thomas. Really, when the Commodores had a good chance to get back into this game, as that one's dropped by Siebert. That's ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. 7-4 your score here in the 5th. The 1-1. That one misses. A little high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Logan Brown up in the count. And Logan Brown, if he gets the timing down, he definitely has the power to put the ball in the gaps, as that one's fouled off. As you know, we've seen that during some BP and during even the JV game. He has some decent gap power. It's just once he gets the timing and the bat speed down, will it really come into play here? But again, you got some young faces getting early playing time here in the season, like Daculus, Alexson, and Brown. As that one misses. 3 balls, 2 counts. We're full here in inning number 5 with 1 out to Logan Brown.
Obviously, like you said, you want to win them all, but I feel like this is a really good building game for the Commodores here.
As Brown skies it to the mound, Durbin, home run and an elevator shaft results in out number 2. Here's Jake Thomas. We talked about him being consistent. He's been consistent again, but not in a way the Commodores would like. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. This ballpark hosted 4 semi-professional baseball teams this past summer. The Sammies, the Wild Things, and there was 2 others. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they would play each team would kind of play each other, and just like a 4-team season, with Frontier League being shut down. Local Waynesburg graduate Tyler Reese played on one of those teams. He's in a Frontier League team in New Jersey. Also another former Waynesburg kid, Mason Miller, now at Gardner Webb, playing as a super senior with his extra year of eligibility, predicted to be a top 3 round pick in the MLB draft. Guy, 6+ frame, throws 97. Here it goes. It was Brilliance, the Road Warriors, Washington Wild Things, and the Steel City Sammies. As that one's in there for a strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Thank you, Nick, for pulling that up.
I figured we had the resources on hand. Might as well use them.
Love technology, man.
I know.
The 1-2, Thomas fouls it off. But again, I mean, that was a great experience for, I'm sure, a lot of those guys. They almost thought they would lose the season.
Yeah.
When you're playing the Frontier League and places like that, you're trying to either take that as a young kid trying to find a way to get that step into the minors. You've seen
I do
guys
believe
like,
the Frontier League is now partnered with the MLB, correct?
I'm pretty sure. You have guys like John Holtzcomb has come out of there. He pitched for the Pirates as Thomas strikes out. But, hey, we'll keep it here and keep this conversation going because we've paid the sponsors.
Yeah.
We'll run some more for them. But we'll keep it here as there was no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard that inning. The Commodores went down in order for just the first time today. But
I mean, this really is a historic baseball area, let alone from the Pirates the past few years. Really haven't been all of that. But, I mean,
talk about a man who's seen a lot of losing baseball. Just think on the other side of that wall, Nick.
very true, very true. I'm sure if he would come over, he could tell us all the stories and pain he went through.
But it's for the love of doing the broadcast. It's not always about the outcome. It's as much as, people and guys like playing. I know guys like Lanny, myself, we do the broadcast. It's not necessarily for the winning and the great moments. It's the love of the game, love doing it. It's just, I mean, there's a reason, why I ended up messaging John on Facebook, and this ended up starting out there. I just love announcing. It's awesome. It's like, Lanny told me in one of our classes with me, he said, you'll get to a point where you won't be able to go to a sporting event anymore if you're not announcing it. And, it comes to the point where it's kind of accurate because you're sitting there like, man, I want to be announcing this game.
Yeah.
And, like, it really it's a real thing. Like, just the desire to always want to announce, it's there. I mean, there's a reason I went to school for it. There's a reason I'm still doing it. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. And, a big part of where I am and being with Trib and being at the stage I am in my career is from Waynesburg and what I've learned there through Lanny and through Richard Krause, the head baseball coach at Carmichael's. Again, I can tie that in, seeing I'm not off topic completely.
Yeah.
But, I mean, great education down there that got me into the right places with some good contacts like Justin LeBar of Trib Live, Don Rebel, and, working for them. Had a good partnership with Chatham for a while, announcing their athletics. I mean,
Now you find yourself here.
back home at Frazier, 2015 grad. Now, if any of the kids I sub listen, they actually might realize how old I am because they always get it wrong. I've got 60 to 18 as this one's skied out to Thomas. He'll make the catch. One up, one down.
You said
60 to 18. That was the range today. Yeah, I know.
60.
This was sixth graders too. That's bad.
Man.
I've had kindergarten kids.
That's
and
like
you
a huge
expect that.
insult.
That's what I said. And then I think, it's just that one kid being a smart aleck.
Yeah.
But it's like, do I look that old? No, you look young. How old do you think I am? 34? I'm like, is that young? And someone's like, someone guessed how old I was today as this one's fouled off. And they're like, I said it was it. And they're like, I don't believe you. I'm like, you really don't believe me? Here's my driver's license. Like, I had a kid that's like, and then their kid's like, oh, I didn't see it. I'm like, why do you want to see my driver's license? They just didn't believe how old I was. and they're looking at the date, and this is the scary part. I might have to go talk to Dan Corge and tell him, hey, your math students might be struggling a little bit as this one in there on the outer half. No balls and two strikes. They're like, 97. So you're 30? It's like, oh, my gosh. Hey, I'm teaching English today. We're not doing this. Oh, man. Another big thanks to John Malone on that one, getting me in subbing. I mean, that's actually been a great time. I've really enjoyed that. And, John put the wheels in motion for me to do that. So, extremely thankful for everything John's done with me in the short time I've got to know him. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. 1 out, nobody on. Bottom 5 as Brown strikes out the batter as Brown put down Grayson Wallace.
Yeah, John Malone really is just a really good guy. He kind of serves as my mentor, too, as I'm graduating this year and going off to college to go sports management.
You decide where you're going yet, Nick?
I'm going to Cal.
Cal, that's a good choice. As Brown, first pitch, hits the batter. As Durbin would take the base. So we're back up top. A little housekeeping to take care of. Grayson Wallace pinch hitted for Jake Ross. He struck out. And then it was Durbin batting for Keith. As Nick, I'm thinking, I missed a double switch, I think.
That's a possibility.
I think what happened is Wagner went to the outfield. I did miss that.
Kind of got carried away with a little bit of stories, but that's okay.
Yeah, Wagner went to the outfield when Durbin came in. Runner at first. It's a courtesy runner. Pitch by Brown in there. Strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs, 1 on. McGuffey's jerseys, I mean, you think gold on blue is easy to read. It kind of is, but then you kind of get the numbers like an 8, a 5, and a 6. They kind of blend together because you don't got like big gaps inside them. As this one's lined out, slicing, and a great catch by the second baseman, Richie.
It's a really nice play. Almost looked like it was going to be another one of those bloopers that you couldn't do anything about, but Richie makes one great play.
Yeah, a P4 with a star in my book. As no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 Highlander left aboard the base path. And it's time to hear a word from our friend Brian Warnick at State Farm right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
Just as your local State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto. And guess what you'll get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, State Farm agent Brian Warnick is your go-to agent in Perryopolis for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home and auto today. State Farm agent Brian Warnick will help you mix and match things perfectly. Call 668-0111 for surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Somerset Trust Company, now open in Perryopolis. We invite you to stop by and experience the Somerset Trust Company difference. Local decision making, convenient locations, extended hours, award-winning online and mobile banking, and more. Somerset Trust Company, community banking at its best. Now open in Perryopolis.
We roll on into inning number 6 here from Wild Things Park on the Frazier Athletics Network. Alex Lyons, Nick Hicks. We start up at the top of the order with Aiden Shutterly. First pitch swinging and flies out and foul. Ball, 1 strike. Runner at first. Dorkin reaches on the E3. Frazier up 3-0 after 1 as they recorded 3 runs with 2 errors and no hits left aboard. And now it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Chase Hazelbaker. And I know he doesn't know what he wants to do yet, but I know what his mom thinks he should do next in life and go for education. As, again, Chase still undecided on his next steps. As Hazelbaker sends it down the first base line. It stays fair, and they run into each other, and Dorkin winds up at third.
I think that's going to be interference.
We're going to see what the umpire says. What is Ron Ross going to call? They're going to call a foul ball here. So we'll do it again. Kind of out of all the things I was expecting, that was not one.
Yeah, that was not the one. I thought it was going to be interference called maybe.
That would have been the kind of logical guess. But again, Frazier's up 3-0 on 2 errors and a bunch of walks. Then McGuffey battled back for 1. Then they put a 5 spot up in the second. We went scoreless in the third. The Commodores got one back as after a bases left loaded with back-to-back strikeouts by Wagner, the Commodores were finally able to break back through as Shutterly scored on a Hazelbaker single, but an inside the arc home run answered as ground ball to short. Up with it on to first, and it's thrown away. Hazelbaker rounds first. He heads for second. Dorkin being sent home. Throw comes by Wallace to home. It's late. Hazelbaker now caught up in between second and third will scamper back as Dorkin scores. It's now 7-5. E6.
This is a really good situation to be in if you're the Commodores. You have a running and scoring position, and your 4-hole hitters up at the plate.
As I mentioned, the Commodores battled back to make it a 6-4 game as a conclave at the mound, as it was Shutterly coming home on the Hazelbaker single. Then it was the Orr inside the park home run. It looked like it wasn't even going to be close. Then Dorkin almost threw him out at home, just missed. And then Brown set them down in order. And then once again, Logan Brown faced 4 batters in the 5th, retired 3 of the 4. Great diving catch by Richie ranging out the second baseman. And
Looks like they have McGuffey has somebody warming up in the pen. If
I think just buying time for the bullpen.
yeah, if
This
I'm
is
not
on the mound.
mistaken, it's number 8.
Lone batter to reach that inning was hit by a pitch. It was Durbin, the pitcher. Runner at second now is Hazelbaker. Back-to-back errors plate the 5th run of the game for the Commodores as Olbreeze fouls it off, and it's going to get the wild deck. So Brookman's out in left, so it can't be him. So it'd have to either be Rogers or Hatfield. Five would be Rogers, so I mean, with these numbers, it could be a 5 or an 8. And I don't like to talk a lot about numbers. I'd probably get yelled at if Lanny heard me talking about numbers. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. The pitch to Olbreeze. 0-2 now the count. Non-section matchup. Frazier's won 3 in a row. Started with a non-section win against Southmoreland, and then 2 section wins against Bentworth and the Bearcats. As McGuffey started with a loss to Ringgold, as Olbreeze chops it. Left side, third baseman Hall up with it. Not in time. No throw. No, Hazelbaker almost picked off, but slides back safely. Now the tying run on base, and the 6th run over a third, 90 feet away.
Things are getting a little bit interesting here at Wild Things Park.
An infield single for Dan Olbreeze sends Chase Hazelbaker to third. Tying run at first. McGuffey, as I mentioned, started with an 11-5 loss to Ringgold, then hammered Charleroi 13-1 and 10-0. And again, Frazier lost 8-4, but that was thanks to the errors. The runner thought about going in there, strike 1 to Braden Bassino. He's had a rough night at the dish. Struck out with the bases loaded. Grounded into a fielder's choice, or struck out with a runner in third and 1 out. Grounded into a fielder's choice, stole a base, and also reached on E2. Now runner goes, throw goes back to the pitcher, trying to catch Hazelbaker. Now throw goes to the outfield. There goes Hazelbaker. He will be in to score. Olbreeze, the third with 1 out, and a fly ball can tie this game.
Wow.
E1 brings home Hazelbaker.
Hazelbaker was standing on the bag.
And
he still threw it over.
I like the thought by
Yeah, I
Durbin.
do,
there.
I do.
Durbin intercepted the throw, trying to catch Hazelbaker.
Well, that was a
going.
planned play back to him.
It's a good play. And then Hazelbaker, high baseball IQ, read it, and then on the air takes home. It's now 7-6. Fly ball ties the game. Chopper, foul, down the left field line as Frazier down by just 1. They were down 6-3, made it 6-4. Then it was 7-4, and now all of a sudden 7-6, 1 out, runner at third. That's Dan Olbreeze.
And Braden Bassino can tie this game with 1 swing of the bat.
He stole second, then advanced on the E1. Spoiled by Braden Bassino, and that goes off the catcher Seabird, and he's definitely in some discomfort. As quickly the coach and now the athletic trainer will run out, and even John Malone going to come down and make sure the catcher is all right. Malone, a former catcher himself in high school and in his early years at college, so I'm sure he's taken a few of those in his day and knows the pain. As last month, Athletic Trainer Awareness Month, or National Athletic Trainer Month.
Yeah.
One of the two.
I think it's the second one. I think that's maybe how they word
I
it.
don't think you do awareness anymore unless you're
Yeah.
trying. I mean, maybe they're trying to get more awareness to the athletic trainers. 'Cause, I
Maybe.
mean, hustling out there on a Friday night at 9 o'clock, out here
Some dedication to her team.
doing some athletic training. I mean, Frazier's athletic trainer, Ashley Cox, does a ton. I mean, I feel like she's always at the school too.
Yeah.
Is that Shutterly warming up down there? Look who's coming back here, Nick. I
It
thought
is Shetterly.
he hasn't pitched this year, has he?
He's never pitched before.
We're in for an adventure, I guess, in the next inning.
Yeah.
Well, is Roebuck available today at all?
He
as
is.
Siebert.
I think Aiden just wants to pitch, and
No, I have no issues with Aiden pitching or questioning John at all. I just, with him not playing at second, but I think that was also, they wanted to get Daculus in the lineup, and they wanted to keep Richie in the lineup. As they're going to give Durbin a few, in a sense, warm-up pitches, but they're warm-up pitches for Siebert here.
yeah.
Make sure the catcher's all right, and he's going to be watched by his coach, and they say,
Play
they're
ball.
good. Justin Wise is okay with the thought. And now Bassino back in. 1-2 count. Bassino struck out with a runner at third and nobody out earlier in this game, trying to get different fate than he had in the third inning. The 1-2 outside and running home is Olbrys. Hard bounce back to the catcher. Olbrys slides home. We're tied at 7. A 3-run sixth inning for the Commodores.
And if you're the Commodores, that's just how you drew it up for this inning to go.
Nobody on, 1 out, 3 runs in, 7-7 game. Pitch by Durbin, fouled off home plate. As Bassino will stay alive, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Nick, we got, about an hour drive back to Perryopolis, and we're in the 6th inning in a tie game.
Hey, good thing it's a Friday night, right?
That's right. Might have to push back that tea time tomorrow. 2-2 the count. The pitch by Durbin, that one low outside as well. Full count now, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 3 runs in for the Commodores. It started by an E3 allowing Dorkin to reach, then an E6 allowing Hazelbaker to reach, moving Dorkin along. And then Olbrys reached on a single as Bassino chops it to second. Going to be a tough play for Orr, up with it, and he throws it away. And now Bassino going to take off for second. And the throw down to second is not in time. Bassino in there standing up. I'm thinking that was a throw. More E4 over E3.
Yeah, E4.
E4.
An
plates
error-ridden
Bassino.
inning for McGuffey here.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4th error of the inning, to my calculation.
think.
You had the dropped ball on Dom Dorkin reaching base by the first baseman, then the shortstop threw it away on Hazelbaker's AB, and then you had the E1, which allowed Hazelbaker to come home and sent Olbrys to third. Then you had a wild pitch, and now you have the E4, and now we're going to get some substitutions as Grayson comes back. Grayson Wallace back out of the game. He was in at first. They're going to bring Hall back in to play first base. So Hall's back over at first. Now Ross comes back in, and he'll head back over to third base trying to fix these errors. So Ross started the game at third, left. He was replaced by Hall at third. Grayson Wallace came into play first, and now Hall back to first. Wallace back to the bench, and Hall back at first base. So that's the changes for now. And again, Wagner out in the outfield, Durbin on the hill. Now the Doors will bring up Noah Ritchie, the second baseman, and Noah Ritchie made that outstanding catch to end the last
They
inning.
really took off all that momentum from his catch in the last inning.
The lefty against Durbin, the right-hander. Yeah, it's the pitch, shows bunt, and I think he got a piece of it and fouled it off. And no, they're going to say no, it goes away. Bassino takes third, and now 90 feet away from a Commodore lead with 1 out. I almost thought Ron Ross was pointing to saying it was a foul tip.
Went around with the bunt.
I'm going to give that a pass ball,
I agree with that.
as that was a playable ball as Ritchie fouls it off. That's the roof. I hear it rolling. Up above. 0-2 the count, 1 out, runner at third, that's Bassino. The Commodore linebacker on the football field, third baseman Nick Hicks, A lot of credit for you getting him on this squad.
Yeah, kind of played a little recruiting role.
That one outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes, nothing Richie could do with it. On deck, it's Daculus. You know, he made a phenomenal catch in the outfield a couple innings ago as well.
Yeah.
The 1-2 just outside. Count even now, 2 balls, 2 strikes to the second baseman, Noah Ritchie. Two count, 1 on, 1 out, and strike 3 is swinging through it was Ritchie, and Bassino stranded for the moment. Daculus 0 for 2, 2 groundouts to second, an RBI and a walk, and Daculus, the lefty, will ground 1 foul down the first base side. 0-1 the count, 2 outs, Bassino at third. He's the go-ahead run here in the penultimate inning of regulation. Commodores looking for their 4th straight win of the season. As the pitch, grounded, right side, Hall calls everybody off and takes it himself. That way no throwing error will come, but the Commodores, they played a trio of runs, and guess what, Nick? They do it again without a hit, but they do it with a lot of errors. Let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Braden Bassino stranded at third. McGuffey lucky this game is not 8-7, but we've played 5.5 here from Wild Things Park. Your score, McGuffey 7, Frazier 7, right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
You can enjoy the rustic decor of the Big Barn Country Store in Delhi from Route 51, just south of Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. Inside the store, enjoy the atmosphere and browse through a selection of delicious Amish foods, home-baked pies, a deli, a wide array of nostalgic candy, wine store, and much more. Open 7 days a week. Visit our website at bigbarnstore.com. That's bigbarnstore.com. Just as your local State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto. And guess what you'll get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, State Farm agent Brian Warnick is your go-to agent in Perryopolis for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home and auto today. State Farm agent Brian Warnick will help you mix and match things perfectly. Call 412-668-0111 for surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Head coach John Malone playing a little trickery on us up here in the booth. We saw Shutterly warming up. Brown back on the hill, and now it's Roebuck, the man they call Goose, who got a save last night up in the pen for the Commodores, as he came in a one-run game and shut the door for the 4-out save. I think Landy just called him Goose too.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the common nickname around the school for Mr. Lucas Roebuck.
Goose likes to shoot the 3 too.
Yeah, he really does for a big man.
Hey, I like big man threes. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, it's always fun to watch. Matthew Cordage also did it too when he was out there for varsity time. He's 2 for 2 in his career for threes.
Frazier basketball team, of course, section champs this year. First time since 1990. That was a blast. Luke Santo got his 1,000th point. Almost thought we'd see him on the diamond this year. I think decided just a little too late. That
Yeah.
I think the end of the basketball season really
His wrist
hindered
was,
that. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's just the frustration. Again, I told Owen he should be playing with how much he's at these games. As Brown entered after Alexson went 1 1/3 in the start, and he'll throw ball 1. Again, you imagine any trouble, you'll see Roebuck come in here in inning number 6. Commodore struck for 3 in the first. Big inning for McGuffey was 5 in the second. The 1-0 in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. As it's Beatty and a 1-1 count. As The pitch by Brown is swung through. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to the shortstop. Brown's only given up 1 run inside the Parker, as that one misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Or 2 balls, 2 strikes.
2-2.
I was writing down my second ball too, so I don't know why I said that, but 2 balls, 2 strikes. Logan Brown still looking for a K here, and instead fires one up high and inside. Count full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The payoff pitch by Brown up high, and a leadoff free pass for Beatty. As Beatty's reached on 2 walks and 2 singles, has 2 runs batted in, and scored a run in this game. And now it's Jake Orr and Roebuck heating up in the pen. Brown pitches, throw in there, strike, bad throw by Obrey's into center field. Shutterly, though, heads up, backing up as another stolen base for McGuffey and Beatty. That is his 2nd steal of the game, 7th of the game. They came in with 14 on the year. And again, 14 may not seem like a ton of steals, but when you look at the grand scheme, they'd only played 3 games.
How many steals do they have today?
7. As this one's roped foul down the third base bag, and the bullpen catcher does a nice job scooping it up. I think that's Dylan Lynch out there.
I mean, you can just see.
They have 21 stolen bases on the season now in not even 4 full games.
That's just how active they are in the base pass, and they do a really good job at it. A lot of speedsters on the team.
I will say the one thing, though, besides maybe Obrey's a little bit, the pitchers, especially I think Brown, has done a good job of not letting them get in his head. And I mean, steps off there to keep the runner at bay. That's Beatty at second. Orr is at first, or I mean at the bat, trying to get to first at least. He went all the way around. He touched them all, as he'll swing through that one for strike 3. First time today, Orr's been sat down as Brown gets the strikeout of Orr.
Is that his 2nd strikeout on the night?
I believe it's his 3rd.
3rd.
He struck out Siebert with a 2-3 housekeeping put out. Got Ross, make that Wallace last inning, who was in for Ross. And now he has struck out Orr, and now it's Wagner. And Wagner almost gets hit.
Alex almost breaking a chair.
Hey, we're not in Smith's room. I'm not supposed to be able to do that anymore.
It could be like the Pirates, the guy falling out of the chair, except we don't have it on video.
Yeah, good old Bob falling out of the chair. Hey, I got like 8 of those bobbleheads. As Wagner cracks it. Bat flip. This ball back towards the wall, and it is gone. A 2-run shot by Wagner.
I think they're calling it a double.
Or did it get stuck in the fence?
They're calling it a ground rule double. I think that might have been a home run.
And Wagner's not happy.
He's not.
And now we're going to get a meeting. It's going to be Ostrich and Ron Ross talking things over. Wagner thought it was gone.
They're going to stay with the call, it looks like.
So a book roll double. And it's 8-7 instead of 9-7. So a book roll RBI double brings home Beatty from second. I thought it was gone.
I thought it was gone too.
I think most people in the stadium thought it was gone, and Look at Wagner out of second, putting his hands up to his coach coming out. I was like, it's gone, man. I know. I mean, he bat flip and all. And I think that might be part of the reason how upset you get if you bat
I
flip
know.
and then it's not a home run. As Brown still out on the hill. It is a double, and it is a McGuffey lead at 8-7, but that's only the second round run Brown's given up, and, he's been very good in relief for the freshman. Hall flew out to center twice and popped out to Hazelbaker at first. Pitch by Brown. Nice breaking pitch. Finds the zone. The 0-1 by Brown, blocked by Olbreeze.
Nice block by Olbreeze.
1-1 the count, 1 out, 1 on, 1 already in. As Logan Brown showing John Malone he might have something that he didn't know before, as this one's fouled off, 1 ball and 2 strikes. As I think that's what a big help these non-section games are, especially when you can throw some younger pitchers.
Yeah.
With Chase not go. Now you get to see what you have in Logan, what you have in Brock. And, Brock struggled with the control, but, again, with that frame, if he comes together, he could be lethal on the mound. As 1-2, that hit the bat.
Foul ball.
Put it right. Hey,
I think that's better accuracy than putting it over the plate.
If you ask Logan Brown, he meant to hit the bat.
As
that one goes,
the plan.
goes behind Hall and hits the bat. So instead
That's
of
the third time I've seen this week.
That's incredible.
I know.
Once in a week's incredible. But the reason that's so big, it keeps the runner at second for the moment, and now Brown with a 1-2 count, still on verge of possible strikeout land. Ground ball, short. Dom Dorkin looks the runner back to second, throw to first, picked by Hazelbaker. Not seeing a lot of action over at first, but flashes the leather there on the 6-3.
Not usually a first baseman, and that's a nice pick by Hazelbaker over there at first.
He's athletic, so.
Yeah.
I heard you were still technically on the roster, though, Nick, over there, former first baseman. Question is, I could see John actually putting you on the roster. I'm not actually joking about it.
I don't think he did.
You never know. You're going to get to the playoffs. Nick, we need you.
Yeah.
Get down here. Logan Sievert pops it up, first pitch. Olbree's trying to find it. And
into the bleachers.
And a hard hop back towards the backstop. And both Commodores' normal starters throw mid-70s with some good off-speed pitches. Brown, I think more of a control, in a sense, pinpoint, not necessarily the speed that you'd see out of maybe guys like Hazelbaker and Dorkin, but nice, strong-looking off-speed pitch.
It's a nice breaking ball by Logan Brown.
Yeah, that one just took a hook and found the zone. 0-2 now, and Brown trying to strand the runner at second. The right-hander at the belt, the 0-2, and he plunks him. Logan Brown now racking his hits batter total up to 3. Kyle Brookman started his day off or evening off with a RBI double, scored run number 3, and then he's grounded out to Richie and then flew out to right.
Are we looking at a change here from McGuffey? The coach is walking towards the bench with his lineup card.
It might be. It's going to probably be a courtesy runner as you have the catcher on first. As we are going to get a...
Maybe not.
He came out, and then he went back in. As it was Hatfield. We saw him warming up in the pen.
Oh, here we go.
So that's Hatfield. So that must mean it is Wyatt Rogers in the pen for McGuffey. Or
he must be doing some type of a switch. He wouldn't be talking to the umpire if it's just a courtesy runner.
I think it's Beetle out there, actually. Yeah, Beetle's in the pen now. Or Beatty. Don't ask me why I said Beetle. Beatty out in the pen now. So I think it might be because what they're doing, Beatty came around the score, so I think it might have been something. So we are going to get a courtesy runner.
Okay.
It's Wyatt Rogers. So that might have been the thing, because originally coming out was Logan Hatfield, and now it's Wyatt Rogers again. Beatty was loosening in the pen. Roebuck back down to he's been back down to the dugout. I think they're hoping to just get Brown out of this inning and keep it a one-run game. Line drive right to Dorkin, he got it.
And they do just that.
Dom Dorkin on the L6 retires Brookman. 1 run on a solo hit, no errors, and 1 McGuffey Highlander left on the base path. We played 6 full innings. We're going to the 7th here from Wild Things Park. Your score, McGuffey 8, Frazier 7, right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
You can enjoy the rustic decor of the Big Barn Country Store in Delhi from Route 51, just south of Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. Inside the store, enjoy the atmosphere and browse through a selection of delicious Amish foods, home-baked pies, a deli, a wide array of nostalgic candy, wine store, and much more. Open 7 days a week. Visit our website at bigbarnstore.com. That's bigbarnstore.com.
We're back here on the Frazier Athletics Network. Alex Lyons, Nick Hicks. New pitcher for McGuffey. It's Austin Beatty.
A 1-run game here in the top of the 7th inning. Really a do-or-die situation for the Commodores.
2 2/3 inning for Durbin. Surrendered a trio of runs. None of them were earned in that last inning.
We have a pinch hitter here.
That's going to be Phillips coming in pinch hitting to start for Logan Brown. And can you see the number out of the shortstop?
I cannot. We didn't bring the binoculars today.
I did not. As first pitch swinging, Phillips ropes it out to second. And that's where Brock Wallace, in its second, gets the out.
The new pitcher, Beatty, made quick work with Phillips, so 1 pitch and 1 out.
Yeah, or over at short. It's Wallace now at second. The pitch by Beatty. It's fouled off by Thomas. As the thing for Frazier, it's not what you wanted to come up this half of the inning. I mean, you had a pinch hitter in Phillips and then Thomas. Then you have Shutterly, Dorkin, and Hazelbaker. Those are the ones you really wanted to get up is Beatty. Fires the heater by him. No balls, 2 strikes, 8-7. Frazier trails McGuffey. Could be 9-7. Book rule double thought to be home run, but the 0-2 staying alive is Thomas. And, you look now at the Commodore striking out twice with the bases loaded. Bassino striking out with a runner at third and no one out. And then Bassino getting stranded at third as strike 3 swinging through it is the Commodores' Jake Thomas.
Down to their last batter. Aiden Shutterly stepping to the plate.
He's been on base 3 times, scored 2 runs. He's been retired once on a pop out to third and foul ground. And nonetheless, a very good game for the Commodores. And, the sad thing for it, if the Commodores don't tie, Logan Brown's going to end up out of here with a loss. And he had an outstanding night on the hill. Strike 1 to Shutterly. Beatty throwing gas out of the pen. The 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Definitely a change of pace from the other 2 pitchers the Commodores have seen today. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Last batter for the Commodore, that one outside. 2 balls, 1 strike now to Shutterly. Has great vision up at the plate. Shown it today with 3 walks, 2 runs scored, couple of stolen bases, a trio to be exact, as this one sent the other way, foul into the backstop. Commodores 3 hits thus far. They've scored 7 runs, you heard me correctly, 6 errors, and they've also left a ton of runners on the base path. As strike 3 swinging through it is Shutterly, and that will be all she wrote. As Beatty gets the save, the Commodores lose their first in 4 games. They are now 3-2 on the year. McGuffey now 3-1. We'll take one more break, run through the sponsors, and come back and recap right here on the Frazier Athletics Network.
Just as your local State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto. And guess what you'll get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, State Farm agent Brian Warnick is your go-to agent in Perryopolis for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home and auto today. State Farm agent Brian Warnick will help you mix and match things perfectly. Call 412-668-0111 for surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Somerset Trust Company, now open in Perryopolis. We invite you to stop by and experience the Somerset Trust Company difference. Local decision making, convenient locations, extended hours, award-winning online and mobile banking, and more. Somerset Trust Company, community banking at its best. Now open in Perryopolis. You can enjoy the rustic decor of the Big Barn Country Store in Delhi from Route 51, just south of Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. Inside the store, enjoy the atmosphere and browse through a selection of delicious Amish foods, home-baked pies, a deli, a wide array of nostalgic candy, wine store, and much more. Open 7 days a week. Visit our website at bigbarnstore.com. That's bigbarnstore.com.
We're back here on the Frazier Athletics Network as we'll recap it all for you as the Commodores lose here 8-7 as McGuffey 8 hits, 6 errors, 6 left on base. The Commodores 7 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors, 9 runners left aboard as Logan Wagner started the game, went 3 1/3, gave up 4 runs, not all earned, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, 5 walks, no decision. In relief, it was Durbin going 2 2/3, 3 runs against, none earned as he picks up the win. And Beatty goes 1 inning, strikes out 2, and gets the save. Alex in 1 1/3 innings gave up 6 runs, not all earned, 5 hits, 1 strikeout, 5 walks, no decision. 4 1/3 for Brown, gave up 2 earned runs. Logan Brown also struck out a trio of Highlanders as he picks up the loss in a very good outing for Logan Brown. I think that's something John Malone's going to look at, that he has something in Logan Brown and possibly Lucas Roebuck as well now. This is a good McGuffey team.
Yeah.
Look what they did to Charleroi.
Exactly. Both times, too. That's impressive if you can do that to a team twice.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Logan Brown, I think Malone knew he had what he had with Logan Brown. It was more of a secret weapon. I think the cat might be out of the bag a little bit here.
And that's going to be something looking forward to. You know, Logan Brown might be able to come shut the door, but, you know, I don't think head coach John Malone can really hang his head too low, or his team can. Again, this is a good McGuffey team, up in classification. A lot of people thought Frazier would come in here and get absolutely stomped by this Highlanders team. They were up 3-0, and they battled back. They showed tenacity, and that's going to be big when they get back in action on Monday. There will be coverage of that game. Not exactly sure where there will be coverage. We'll officially tweet that out when we know for sure, but that's definitely going to be covered in one way or another. York, the next opponent, on the 12th for McGuffey, as Frazier, again, will take on Best Center. But we'll run down the scoring real quick. Frazier 3 in the first on no hits and 2 errors. And then it was answered by a 1-run first and then a 5-run second for McGuffey. They were up 5-3 after 2. And then in inning number 4, Frazier clawed back within 2 as they were able to scratch 1 run across the board. But McGuffey answered. Frazier tied it up in the 6th, but in the bottom half, it was a double, giving them the lead. Book roll double, thought to be possibly a 2-run shot, but the Commodores can't get past Beatty in the 7th, and they fall here tonight. Your final, McGuffey downs Frazier 8-7. You heard it here on the Frazier Athletics Network. On behalf of my broadcaster, Nick Hicks, I'm Alex Lyon saying thank you for tuning in. As always, have a great rest of your evening. Commodore Baseball 2021 here on the Frazier Athletics Network has been brought to you by The Big Barn, Somerset Trust Company, State Farm Insurance, by Mirror Salon, and by our friends at Fox's Pizza. You've been listening to coverage of Commodore Baseball 2021 right here on